extenders can stand up a lot too, so because the energy can't really be accepted in that big hip, so it'll stand up and, gently get to the right or the top energy, something like that. So I think a lot of swing faults can be improved from those two things, and also just the ability and awareness of how to separate your upper body from your lower body. And the more you kind of create that stretch, that differential, not only helps you swing a lot, but also makes you a little further. So I think it helps in multifaceted ways.
And then I saw some stat, and it's something like the average PGA Tour player's hip rotation versus the average golfer. There's like a 20-degree delta, or like a pretty substantial differential.
Sure. Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of average golfers don't turn their hips enough because it's easier to turn your shoulders back if your hips turn more. It's really what the difficult part is to keep your hips still and turning your upper body. That's, we only have so much range of motion, but one thing is staying stagnant. So I think, working on both is helpful, and just understanding that, it's okay. You don't have to look exactly like whatever model that you're looking like, but you got to make sure that for your body type, you're moving in a way that allows you to get into those spots. If you can't do that, that's where exercises like Don and I went through and Paige went through are going to make a big difference.
Well, I don't want to speak for him. I'm not sure my body can get in all those spots, but thanks for hopping on with us. We now got a chat with Paige, who we saw actually went through the mobility workouts and exercise. What did you draw from being part of the swing gym?
This project for me was one of the most rewarding things that I've done, because I really feel like there's been a gap in the industry. Really understand body moves along the path of least resistance. You've got to loosen up that resistance first before you start making swing changes. And to bring together a team of John, who knows the body and knows changes, and to bring together a team of John, who knows the body and knows changes, and to bring together a team of John, who knows.
Psoriatic arthritis made my joints stiff, swollen, painful. Emerged, Tremfyant. Psoriatic arthritis made my joints stiff, swollen, painful.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Cool Ray has always been a leader in our industry.
The lifetime parts and labor warranty is pretty awesome. Basically, all the parts are covered, the labor and everything.
When we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, and it's supported with money-back guarantees. And with that, you're getting all qualified technicians that are going to ensure that this job is done perfectly and operates perfectly throughout the life of the unit.
Learn more about our Cool Ray lifetime parts and labor warranty at coolray.com. Cool Ray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
She got it all. up for nothing. Ain't no telling her no. Get what she wants and she knows exactly where she can go.
All right, welcome to another Thursday Night Thunder here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, brought to you by Extreme E-Speed TV. I'm Andy Piercefield. We got John Hine here with me tonight. We're going to be bringing you all the action from Lernerville Speedway. John, what are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, Lernerville, we had a hometown heroes here a couple of seasons back with C2C, and I will tell you, some exciting racing, a good, multiple groove kind of racing, but there's one thing that makes this track more unique than any other track that we go to. There is no outside wall. That will play a factor, not only probably in the heat races, but the feature too. You could go really fast up there ripping that lip, but you just miss it by a couple of inches, and that's a long way down that back straightaway hill.
Yeah. The guys that get around that top and do it well are really fast. The guys that get up there and flirt with the top, not so much. You got to get it all the way up there if you're going to really get moving.
Yeah, you really do, and that's where I was saying you're talking a half a foot one direction or another, and next thing you know, you're down by the fishing boats, you're up by that wall over in 3 and 4, or down the hill over 1 and 2. It's an awful penalty because I can tell you lose a lap just trying to get back up to the track. You go down those hills, but the bottom here is viable. So the guys that don't want to run that top and rip the lip, you can make time. I won a late model race here, a couple of seasons ago, and I had Steven Spees right on my bumper, and the two of us were right on the bottom all the way around. So that bottom will work. I've seen midget races, where the bottom is preferable. I've seen sprint car races too. So this track, it's going to give them options, but the truly fast way though is probably going to be around top.
Yeah, it looks to me like we got some guys out there practicing. We got Logan Gill on top of the leaderboard right now with a 15.568. That's a pretty stout lap right there. Looks to me like they're kind of pushing the cushion up just past midway right now. That'll keep moving up as they go. What do you think about heat races? They'll have that pushed up, John?
Well, they'll reset the track. We go to 15% usage. So think of it, we're in a virtual world here, obviously. So think about, when you go to your local short track and you see them go out and practice, and then they go out and they'll run the water truck, work the track back in for the races. Well, that's what we do here at C2C. We'll bring the water truck out, work the track a little bit. I think in the heat races, they're going to have to start pushing the thing back up, reworking the track in. I think you'll see the heat races. I think it'll be a battle for maybe the bottom into the middle. By the, looking at the car count here, we may get 3 heat races by that third heat race. Yeah, they're going to be flirting pretty close to the top.
Yeah, it looks to me like, I was just trying to get us a car count there. Looks like we got about 33 cars in the pits tonight.
Yeah, that's why I was saying the 3, and I don't know how big the heat races will be. I mean, we might even see a 4th or 5th with the car count that. But about that third heat race, you're going to see the bottom line will actually be about in the middle, and the top line will be up on the top there. But those first 2, I'm thinking the bottom to the mid are going to be the 2 quicker ways around. And by the time they get to the feature with that car count, with that many cars out there, man, that's going to provide great racing, because the slicker a track gets, the better racing I feel it gives us, because it's an equalizer. You just can't go up to the top and rip the lip, because there's not enough of the top there to really do it. You've got to finesse the car, whether you're up top or the bottom, and the guys that have the best throttle control, those are the guys that are going to prevail a little bit later.
Yeah, we're gonna be cutting away and doing some qualifying here pretty soon. It looks to me like, so tonight the 358 modifieds starting off the evening, and that's brought to us by the Super Dirt Car Series. Great sponsors, have been with Coast to Coast for a while. Yeah, to your point about these 358s, it's kind of like when early in the night when you can just throttle mash them. I don't think the racing's all that great. Once they get where you have to start finessing it through the corners, it kind of lets the driver take a bigger role. And man, they put on a really good show then.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're basically, like you said, throttle mashing, you got your foot down to the floor. The fast way around is a very small, window. It's a small line, and it makes it very difficult to pass because if you get off that line, you're going to lose speed. But when that track slicks up, guys that can work that throttle can move up the track, they can move down the track, and they can still make it work. And the fact that they're not going quite as fast, they can control their cars a little better too, and that provides a three-way, three wide racing and everything else. But I tell you, Andy, this track is a lot of fun. We had some dynamite racing when we had the Hometown Heroes. I think we're in for a treat here tonight for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks. I remember when I first started running here, I really didn't like it. I would get into that front stretch wall, or I'd be flying off turn 2. And then the more experience I got there, it's become one of my favorite tracks. It's challenging, but man, it's a lot of fun too if you can get your car hooked up.
It really is, and I have a love-hate relationship with this track. I loved it a couple of seasons ago when I won a charity race here with C2C, and I've hated it when I've lost midget and late model races because I went down to those fishing boats over the backside. So it's a fun track, no doubt, but man, it can bite you in a hurry.
Hey, a couple things I want to mention to all of our viewers tonight. Extreme eSpeed TV, a brand new network that's just going live. We've been kind of hit and miss doing some practice runs, and we're doing this Thursday Night Thunder program with C2C. I want to let everybody know that we got our Facebook page up, our YouTube page is up, got our, we're getting all of our social media stuff up. So if you get a chance, go out there on Facebook and look it up. It's Extreme eSpeed TV. Like it, friend it, follow it, whatever. And then give us some feedback. We're not going to go out and book, 7 nights a week and see if we can do that. Primarily, this was built to be a two race a week program. We're doing some next gen pavement racing, and then we're also doing the Cody Early's Pro Dirt Late Model Series next year. So we'll be the official for both of those. But any feedback or anything like that you can give us. We're always looking to get better. And then if there's anybody out there that would like to get involved, call some races, work the booth, do whatever, we're always looking for some help.
Yeah, for those of you out there that think, oh my gosh, calling the booth, I can tell you it's a lot more fun. Even though I'm not in the seat, it's an interesting perspective to do, and it's one of those things that if you like to talk and you've got good perspective and whatnot, you ought to give these guys a shout, and maybe they'll get you signed up for that.
Yeah, they're I don't know. It's been challenging, rewarding, and fun all at the same time. I didn't realize that you could. Looks like Bob the Good's going for a little ride there off in turn 1. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, good to get that stuff out of your system and practice.
They should be rolling over to qualifying here.
Yeah, I think they probably will be in about 2 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, here comes Bob again. He must be okay. He must have got her put back together. The whole iRacing thing, John. I've been officially iRacing for a little over a year now, and wow, what a year!
All right, so I can have everybody clear the track.
A lot of stuff has happened in that year, but man, I wouldn't trade this for anything. I raced for about 17 years in real life, and I'm not going to sit here and tell people that it's the same, but I will tell you that there's nights I climb out of my rig and I'm soaking wet and my heart's beating and I'm upset, I'm happy, I'm angry. It gets you all those emotions going, and for no guy like me, John, that's some fun stuff.
Yeah, it's iRacing is great. You know, for those of us watching us out there on YouTube and other social media, you know, will scratch that competitive itch. But not only that, there's a nice community here. I mean, here in C2C, if you're watching this and you are part of iRacing, you should go look up coasttocoastrl.com and check us out. This is a great community-based league. Drivers have input on the direction, some of the directions that we go. You know, I talk to a lot of different guys from a lot of different teams and back and forth and you know it's cool to be in a community like this. And you know, that's kind of the funny thing is, when I left racing, the thing that I missed the most was walking around the pits and just having chats with guys, you know, or traveling up and down the highways with them, and you know, pulling into a rest stop and having breakfast at 2 a.m. after we raced. And you know, heck, we might have left the track mad at each other, but now here we are having breakfast, that kind of thing. It's, you know, this is a really neat, especially this league. It's a really neat league to be part of. It's a very unique league. We do a lot of things that nobody else on the platform does. You know, and I know that we are very proud of that. Roger and Preston have really put a lot of work into this in the last year. And man, I tell you, it's neat to see the fruits of all their work pay off. But, you know, you're right. You know, there's times too, though, I've gotten out of these cars at the end of the night and covered in sweat, had to go take a shower and then had to decompress and whether it be mad or excited. And, you know, it's a cool thing and a good, cool community to be a part of.
Yes, it is. What do we got here? All right, looks like we're getting ready to get started with some qualifying. I was going to, looks like Bob the Good's getting out there on the track. We got a few guys heading out, getting some laps in. I'm really curious to see. There's a point where the track hits its max speed and then it starts falling off. I'm not sure where we're at there. We may be past that max speed, but we should see some pretty quick times.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit past the max speed, but not far. I think you'll see times maybe a tenth. Oh, there goes. There's what I was talking about. That edge is right there. But I think we'll be about 2/10 short of where you saw those practice speeds are.
Wow, they're popping off some pretty good ones. We've got a 15.491 by Brian Lawson. That's a great time there. Got Logan Gill at a 15.517. Brennan Lacey moves to the top of the board. 15.483. That's some quick times out there, John.
I stand corrected. That is a whole tenth and a half quicker than what they were practicing. I thought, what would we see? A 15.8 or 15.58, I think it was.
Yeah. Look how tight the group is.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Bob is going back over there, but
oh,
yeah,
funny.
Yeah. As you see these times coming up here, you know you see these guys laying them down and everything else, and I can tell you, you know, there's a couple of strategies. Some guys probably won't want to admit it, but you know, we invert the top four, so there's some guys trying to work the invert here, and there's some guys that want that pole, and it's kind of cool sometimes, I think, to see the two strategies and how they combine, and interesting to see the heat race lineups when they happen. We'll get to that here in a minute, but there are definitely two different strategies when qualifying starts here, to either try to get to the front row or just go hammer down and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, look at that. We got 24th is at a 15.691, and the pole is a 15.483. Or not the pole, we invert here, but it's 2/10. I mean, it's 2/10, and
quick time.
What a competitive field that is.
It is, and you know what? And guys do work, and like I said, some you try to work the invert, and how they do it is beyond me. Because I'm going to be upfront and honest here. I've tried it a couple times, and when I've done it, I have gone to the bottom of the list and missed the invert altogether. I don't know how they get it that close, but I always try to go hammer down and just suck it up and start from that second row if I can get there.
Yeah, that's one of the things for me. I've always been pretty lucky. Just go as hard as I can, and if I get a good fast lap, chances are I'm going to hit the inversion. I'm not one of them guys that's going to be starting fourth. All right, we got our first heat race coming up here. You want to go ahead and introduce our lineup there, John?
Sure. On the pole, we've got Butch Baker in the 097. Next to him will be Randy Shreves in the 56. Starting in the second row is going to be Field Miller next to Brennan Lacey. In the third row, it's going to be Jeffrey Kemper and Peter Bree. The next row back will be Chris Steele, Terry Landis. In the last row in the shotgun of the field is going to be David Tamashi and Brandon Templeton. As the pace car pulls them out of the pits here. And Andy, I tell you, I'm looking here at this lineup, and I see a lot of fast guys. We got Brennan Lacey, who is our quick time, of course, with that invert. He is sitting there fourth. But the guy all the way, we got a 10-car heat race. You look all the way at the back there, 10 cars deep. That's Brandon Templeton, and he, I think, has won one of these, and if not, I know he's won some other races here in C2C recently. When we only take the top 4 to go to the main show, he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, that really shocks me that he's back there. I mean, he's one of our top competitors. Looks like we got I like that pace car out there instead of the truck tonight. So we got one to go. We got Butch Baker on the pole. He'll be setting the pace for us. Randy Shreves, then Field Miller and Brennan Lacey. Track looks like it's in great shape right now, John. I'm really excited to see what we get going here with this first heat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty close to hammer down. And yeah, I like the pace car too, only because that pace car, I think they dropped a GT3 motor in there. If you ever listen to it, man, it sounds mean. But hey, the field is going through 3 and 4. We're about ready to get the night started.
Yep, here we go. We got Butch Baker. Oh, what a great start. Pretty even. Randy Shreves on the outside gets the advantage. He's up on the top. We got a little bit of contact there with the 4. Take him down the backstretch, John.
Yeah, as they head down the backstretch here, you see him kind of go single file there, but it does look like Field Miller is looking for a way around Butch Baker as they come down out of turn 4 and down the main stretch.
Yeah, Randy Shreves has got it stretched out there. He's got a nice little lead going there. That car is looks like he's working around the top side really nice.
Yeah, he's already up top there. I'm surprised that none of the guys up like Field Miller, you've got to go where they're not. And I would be a bit surprised if Field doesn't try that middle line to maybe try to get around Baker there, because it looks like Baker might be holding him up just a little bit as you see him close right there through 3 and 4. But boy, I tell you, the launch, those top 3 coming down the front straightaway, they're gapping the rest of the field there.
Yeah, the top 4 is stretching it out there a little bit, and they're comfortable. They're going to be moving directly to the A feature. I was looking towards the back. I don't really understand what's going on with Brandon Templeton back there.
Sometimes when you start in the back, you just got nowhere to go, especially right now. You see the fast line. This goes back to everybody's almost hammered down. So, the fast line gets very narrow where you're quick. And the last lap, by the way, when we went through 3 and 4, our 4th place guy, Peter Bree, jumped that cushion. And now you got Jeffrey Kemper now up in the top 4. Well, oh, no, there goes
Fred Miller.
Yep, that was Butch Baker right over the top, moved Field Miller up. But like I said, that I told you that was going to come into play, probably even in the heat races.
Here he comes back on. That's just crazy how easy that is to do. The first time I ever did it on my own, I thought, well, how stupid is that? But I'm telling you, when you're out there, it is a fine line between hitting it and missing it.
Yeah, and drivers by nature are greedy. If you get through there one time, you think, okay, next time I'm going to try to get through there faster. And when you push, eventually you find where that limit is. And here that limit is a ride off the banking there down the backstretcher in those corners. So it's a very, very fine line.
Yep. And there we go. We got Randy Shreves, Field Miller, Jeffrey Kemper, and Terry Landis rounding out the top 4. That'll put Peter Breas up front in that last chance race.
Yeah, it's good to see Terry come up there. He's one of C2C's very first champions in the Renegades way back when this league started. So a veteran getting in there, and it's good to see him in there.
All right, heat number 2. Again, racing in this first round of racing tonight is brought to you by the Super Dirt Car Series here on the Coast to Coast Racing League. We got Corey Schartzer starting on the pole, Zach Chapman starting outside pole, Terry Weinman, Nick Vickery. We were talking about Nick earlier tonight. He ran really good last night in the Hometown Heroes. Dan McLaren in the 89 with Ryan Beagles on the outside in the 84. Ryan Baer in the 15, Tyler Wilson in the 42, and bringing up the rear, Paul Thompson in the 337.
Yeah, and as they come out on the track here, Nick scored a victory last night in the Pro Late Models, and he's going to start here in the second row here tonight. So I expect him to be strong. But I tell you, Ryan Beagle's right back there too. He's another one that has been strong often here in this series, and. Don't sleep on Zach Chapman here in these 358s. Zach has had some pretty good runs here. I think he got a podium last week, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to have a clean track in front of him and the preferred line, I think, when they get down to 1 and 2. So this is going to be a fun race to watch.
We're going to qualify directly to the main event. Start of this race will be on the leader.
And we got some. I was just looking at some of the wraps out there. We got some good-looking cars out there. That's I like the way the guys have their cars done up. Some of them, turned it into a hobby of building their own wraps. Some guys pay to get their wraps done. It's just pretty cool to see some of the different designs.
Oh, absolutely. I'm biased because I'm part of the league, but the painters that we have in this league are just lights out. From VMR to Velocity to Epsilon, a lot of good painters in this league.
All right, we're getting ready to take the green. Here we go. We got Corey Schartzer, and Zach Chapman gets the jump on the outside. He's going to move it right up there against the cushion. Gets a nice run off from 2.
Yeah, it looks like Nick Vickery is going to follow him right by and move into second place as they head into 3.
Oh.
But here comes big dog, Ryan Beagle. We already had one go over the top. Didn't take long for someone to test that cushion out, if you will. But now you got Beagle. Yeah, you got Beagle now up to 3rd. Big move for Ryan Beagle early on in this race.
Yeah, we had, looked to me like we had Tyler Wilson went off the track down there in 3 and 4. What a battle up front. We got, like you said, Ryan Beagles was right there all over Vickery. It looks like Zach Chapman might be just holding him up just a little bit, but he's out front setting the pace.
Yep, he's setting the pace there. But, boy, we got a nice battle, too, for that final transfer position back there between Corey Schartzer and Dan McLaren. Good battles all over. This is the kind of racing this track puts on. A little bit later, when this track gets a little bit wider, I do think you're going to see those other ones come to play. But right now, guys look pretty content. There must be a lot of tack still catching those cars. But there we go. Dan McLaren does the slide job, goes low, and looks like he's got to make it stick.
He made it. That looks like that's our first one of the night. I think we're going to see a lot more of those as we move along. That was a very aggressive move, but it got him up into that final transfer spot.
Yeah, it did. And now he's starting to kind of walk away, see if he can run these top 3 down and maybe move further up the grid for the feature a little bit later tonight. But look here, Ryan Beagle has moved into second around Nick Vickery, has now got his sights on Zach Chapman. Man, Ryan, he's got 2 laps to go here, and he has moved up more than anybody else in this heat race.
Yeah, he is definitely fast. It looks to me like he carries a lot of speed right through the middle of the corners. Right there is where he really closes that gap up on Zach.
Yeah, you know what's really scary about Ryan? He gets even better when that bottom comes in. So, he lost a lot there.
He cost himself second.
Yeah.
Cost himself second there at the finish. What a great finish, though. Zach moved down to block him, and it turned into a great finish. We got Zach Chapman, Nick Vickery, and Ryan Beagles rounding out the top 3. What a great race.
Yeah, that was a great competition. Good, clean driving by all those guys. Great to watch here. But now we're looking here at the next heat number 3.
Yep, so we got Mario, I don't know how to say that name, John. Is that Podrier? In the 123.
Sounds good to me.
Kyle Parker in the 13 on the outside front row. Logan Gill, who's been a tough one in these modified, starting 3rd. Brian Lawson in the 9. Stephen Goldner, I believe he's our points leader in this series. Dean Reynolds in the 790. G.J. Boydell in the 014. Jeremy Paulson in the 000, and Kurt Schatzer bringing up the rear in the 218.
Yeah, and actually, we have the top 2 in points coming in tonight in this heat race between Stephen Goldner and Logan Gill. These two have battled pretty, hard here early part of this season here, so it's going to be neat to see these guys battle out in the heat race. But you know what? They're going to have to get around the likes of Kyle Parker, Brian Lawson. They've got some guys they're going to have to work for it to make it through this one. And even to make it a little more interesting, as I look this lineup over, Stephen Goldner, the point leader, is starting from outside of a transfer position, so he's got to go up there and take one of those top 4 if he wants to just move straight into the A tonight.
This race will be on the leader on the green flag. Try to close up a little bit on the pace car if you can. Try to keep about 2 paces away from the pace
Okay,
car.
as we're bringing them down the back stretch, we're getting ready to drop the green. We got, looks like a pretty good pace. Mario's bringing them around there. Mario's got a bright paint scheme on that car.
He wants to make sure the guys in the space station can see him.
I guess. Mario gets a nice jump. Kyle Parker coming up on the outside. He jumps right up to the cushions, getting a nice run off from 2. Logan Gill's right there with him.
Yeah, he gets a monster run coming off the back there.
Oh, Logan Gill slides up in front of Brian Lawson and blocks him a little bit there. Logan wanted to get to the top. That top is definitely faster right now, but I tell you, Mario's doing a good job hanging in there on the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like the track is starting to come into a little bit of a transition here. And Mario is not all the way to the bottom, but he's running that middle line, and he's kind of hanging on there a little bit. He's losing touch there with Parker and Logan Gill there. But, the big news here, Stephen Goldner still has not moved into a transfer spot. In fact, he's lost a spot since the start of the race here.
Yeah, he's not making up any ground at all. It looks to me like Logan Gill is starting to get a little run on Kyle Parker. We got a good race there for the lead.
Yeah, those two, Kyle Parker is really fast in these, and so is Logan Gill. I expect that we're not only going to see those two battle in this one, we're going to see them battle later. But look at this battle for the transfer position back there. Holy cow. You got Brian Lawson, Dean Reynolds, Stephen Goldner, Mario is back there. Man, Super Mario down there on that bottom, man. He is hanging on down there. I think probably one race away from that being a good line.
He's definitely been committed to it. I wouldn't rule out Stephen Goldner. He's made up one spot, but he is right there. Any movement at all from Brian Lawson and Dean Reynolds, and we're going to have Steve Goldner making a move into that transfer spot.
Yeah, just for the folks at home here, that Reynolds in that 79 that you see on your screen, he is in the transfer position. And right now, Stephen Goldner, our point leader, is one position away from locking himself in the feature. And you know what? We're on the white flag lap, so he's got one corner to make. And there you go. Oh, he jumped the cushion coming to the checkered. Oh, and he didn't even get to the flag stand. So
no, Stephen Goldner, he's going to end up dropping back.
Yeah, he's going to have his work cut out for him in this B feature.
Alrighty, guys. Good time here for Heat 4.
All right, we got our 4th heat coming up. Just want to remind everybody out there that this is being broadcasted on the Coast to Coast Racing League. We're bringing it to you live from Extreme E-Speed TV. I'm Andy Piercefield. We got John Hine up here in the booth with me tonight. Man, these have been some great heat races, John. You want to give us our lineup for number 4?
Absolutely. We got Connor Ross that's going to start this one on the pole. We got Dustin Sargent to his outside. The next row is going to be Jeff Barker, and followed by Timothy O'Connor. In the 3rd row, it's going to be Jeff Fitzpatrick and Patrick Spainler. And the starting 7th will be Chris Alvey. Next to him is going to be Eric. I'm going to go with Tetriol. And the last row there is Bob DeGood. So he's going to be bringing up the rear here. And I think we're going to have another fantastic heat race here, Andy. This track is now, I think, starting to get racy, where guys can come off that top and try things to make passes. And I think that's going to, we saw a heck of a battle for that transfer position. This race, I think we're going to see a lot the same, I hope.
Yeah, it's gotten widened out pretty nice. I think they can run that bottom. I think the slide jobs are going to come into play. And I think that top is still going to be fast. So we got Connor Ross starting on the pole with Dustin Sargent on his outside. We've got them lined up for a pretty good start here. They're coming around for the green. Connor Ross with a nice jump, but it looks like Dustin's going to get up there again to hold that outside line. Let's see what kind of run he gets coming off from 2.
Boy, look at Ross just drive up that hill in a blunt. See how it just blunted that run that Sargent had coming off there. So it's going to put Connor there in the catbird seat to lead lap 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty aggressive move, but it paid off. He got up there soon enough, and with Dustin kind of, he had to back off a little bit. He got into him, but not too hard.
Yeah, and we were speaking of 2 lanes there. You see Jeff Barker now kind of committed to the bottom there, and he's hanging on to third. Again, it just looks like there's just a little bit. Look at that. Oh, a little contact sends Chris Alvey over the edge there. Boy, this track is just so unforgiving when almost anything happens there. But now we have Patrick Spangler closing in on Jeff Barker here for that 3rd position.
Yeah, so the battle for 3rd and 4th, that was Bob just slipped up there a little bit, or Jeff Barker slid up a little bit and took Chris Alvey up off the top. And again, at this track, that's nothing intentional. It's just really tight, hard racing coming off from them corners.
Yeah, it is. And right now, the 3rd and the 4th place don't have a lot of pressure on them. They're locked in here, and I don't know, how aggressive you really want to be, but you do see Fitzpatrick now starting to creep in there. So Patrick Spangler is going to have to get up on the chip here and maybe put that cushion, make from him to that 3rd. And if he gets around Barker, once he gets a 3rd, then you got that position, that 4th position as a cushion. You don't have to worry about getting past. But we got 2 laps to go. Spangler over the edge.
Yep, we just lost our our 3rd place car. 4th place went off over the top. So that changes the lineup once again. It's man, we just can't stress it enough what a fine line that is up around the top. That was a tough go. So I think we're in the white flag lap right here.
Yeah, final lap to go here, and Jeff Fitzpatrick is now moved up into the 3rd spot, and Eric Tetrill has moved into the 4th. And what a great race here for Connor Ross. He kind of won that one walking away. And I'm gonna, for everybody at home watching this, if you haven't been on this particular track or whatever, what makes it so difficult, especially down there in 1, it's all on how you enter the lines here. If you enter too late, you're going to slide right over the top. If you go in there too early, turn in just a little bit too early, you're in the slick, and that slick will carry you right up over the cushion, and off you go. Like you said, it's just tough to really state how hard that really is.
All right, so we've got our consolation race. Oh my gosh, it looks to me like we have got 21 cars going to be taking the green for this. We're going to start it off with Peter Breeze in the 74. Outside of him will be Corey Schartzer in the 6. Mario Podrier in the 123. Chris Elvey in the 13. Brennan Lacey, 414, starting 5th, with Ryan Bear in the 15, starting 6th. G.J. Boydell in the 014. Timothy O'Connor starting 8th. David Tormashi in 9th. Tyler Wilson in 10th. Kurt Schatzer is going to start 11th, with Bob DeGood starting 12th.
And starting 13th is going to be Paul Thompson, and next to him will be Chris Steele. And the rest of the field will kind of cycle through here in a second. Can you see how many guys are going to transfer?
I cannot.
Well, right now, our point leader, I guess the story of this one's going to be the point leader is starting 15th. That's Steven Goldner. I think, I know all the rest of these drivers, want to get in here, make the show. But for a guy leading the points, Steven, he and I've texted this week more than one time. This has been like a really bad week. He's had a really tough week here. And hopefully he gets a little better here and he can get to the front and make the show.
All right, we dropped the green and we're off, and we got Corey Schartzer and Peter Breeze battling it into turn 1. Peter Breeze will bring him down the backstretch. He got a nice jump out there with a good start, but they're coming right back at him, bumper to bumper.
Yeah, Peter Breeze is going to lead lap 1 with Corey Schatzer there in second. Brennan Lacey is sitting third.
We got a big wreck down there in 3 and 4. I haven't seen the yellow come out yet.
Well, there are no yellows in the B feature. But
gotcha.
Oh, yeah, there was someone sitting right there on the edge of the track, and I think he may have caught somebody, coming around there. Man, these B features, that's why it's so important to get through the A or get through your heat race and get off to the A, because you never know what is going to happen in these B features.
Yep. So we got Peter Breeze is out front. He's right on the back end of a lap car, and then we've got it looks like Mario is running in second place there. So yeah, we got the field spread out all the way around the track already.
Yeah, and the big news here, we talked about him earlier, Stephen Goldner, the point leader, started in 15th. We are about halfway through. He is all the way up to 9th. So he is picking his way through here, and I'm sure he's doing it being real careful about how he does it here. But right now you see on your screen the battle for the lead is heating up as the lap car Spangler runs the wall all the way down the front straightaway, and Peter Bree has to take evasive action to get around him. Does a nice job going low there in 1, and it looks like he's cleared him. And so has second place there, Mario Portier.
Yeah, it looks to me like Brandon Templeton's up in 6th, John. He's moved up 11 spots since the start. Jeremy Paulson's up to 8th. He's moved up 11 spots. It looks to me like, Stephen Goldner, something happened. He was...
I wonder if he went over the edge.
Yeah, something happened. He was running right there. Let's see if we can...
Well, it looks like he's back there.
No, he's still there. Something weird happened. He must have got up over the top or something. He was running down the pylon pretty fast there. He's still up in 9th spot.
Yeah, I wonder if he jumped the cushion and is able to get back on pretty quickly. But, I tell you, Brandon Templeton, yeah, he's moved up. Remember, he had those troubles in the heat race where he's kind of caught in the back there, but he's moved up. And I think maybe those big movers like that, you said there's a big pile up there early on. That probably has something to do with it, but here they come for the checkered flag. Looks like Stephen Goldner is going to finish P9 here with Greg Boydell 10th, but Peter Bree will be the big winner with Mario Portier, followed by Brennan Lacey for your top 3 here in the B. But be interesting to see when the practice sets up here for the A main, if it includes both Templeton and Stephen Goldner. Right there's a good look at your B main winner there, Peter Bree, as he takes that number 74 machine right down there through turns 1 and 2. He's going to get a shot a little later here, Andy, to see if he can double up here and pick up an A win.
Yep, we're gonna take a quick break here. We got a little bit of warm-ups before this feature. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. This is Andy Piercefield and John Hine with Extreme Speed TV.
Coolray has always been a leader in our industry.
The lifetime parts and labor warranty is pretty awesome. Basically, all the parts are covered, the labor and everything.
When we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, and it's supported with money-back guarantees. And with that, you're getting all qualified technicians that are going to ensure that this job is done perfectly and operates perfectly throughout the life of the unit.
Learn more about our Coolray lifetime parts and labor warranty at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Relative, whether you're looking up at your mirror, whatever the case might be. Okay.
All right. Well, welcome back to Thursday Night Thunder. We got our warm-ups in. We got guys are lined up. We got 24 cars lined up to take the green flag. It looks like Brandon Templeton made it. It does not look like Brian Goldner made it.
Stephen Goldner,
Or
no.
Stephen Goldner. He did not make the feature, so.
No, he missed it by one spot because I think he finished behind Jeremy Paulson, and Jeremy is in there. So our point leader.
All right, well, welcome back to Thursday Night Thunder.
Point leader is going to be on the sidelines here for tonight. But here's a cool thing about C2C. Well, we get mulligans in this league. You get drop weeks, and there's 2 of them every season. Stephen Goldner, I think, is going to chalk this week up to one of his take one of his mulligans this week.
Yep, I think so. All right, here's our starting lineup for the feature. We got Randy Shreves on the pole in the 56. We got Zach Chapman with a nice starting spot outside pole. Kyle Parker and Connor Ross in row 2. Field Miller and Nick Vickery in row 3, with Logan Gill and Jeff Barker in row 4. Jeffrey Kemper and Ryan Beagler in row 5. Brian Lawson and Jeff Fitzgerald Fitzpatrick, are in row 6. Terry Landis and Dan McLaren are in row 7. And we have Dean Reynolds and Eric Tetrault in row 8. Peter Breeze and Mario Pordrier, I believe that's first and second in our last chance race. We start in row 9. Brennan Lacey and Corey Schartzer. And then bringing up the rear will be Chris Elvey, Brandon Templeton, Kurt Schatzer, and Jeremy Paulson. We got a pretty stout field there, John.
We do, and there's only 30 laps to get things done here, and they're coming around to take the green flag. And as they hammer down, get down to business here, we are under their way. And man, I tell you, it's going to be a traffic jam as you look here in turn 1. You got Logan Gill trying to do some, some gardening to go down there in the grass, try to make it past right there on lap 1.
Yeah, they're running 3 wide, 3 by 3 by 3 back through the pack. Field Miller's got a lead, but it's a tight one. Zach Chapman's trying to get around him on the high side.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see. You got to go all the way back to Connor Ross to see the first guy way up top. Now Chapman goes up there to go up top and start testing how much of that cushion is still left up there.
Yeah, and you watch them come off the corners. It's just such a fine line up there. Just a little bit of a slip, and you're going to be in the wall or off the top. But Zach Chapman is definitely running the top and putting pressure on Kyle Parker.
Yeah, but for the first time tonight, Andy, we see that bottom with those 2 teammates down there with Kyle Parker and Field Miller down there working the bottom, and our leader is working the bottom, and they're holding serve down there. But we have a caution on the track here.
Yeah, I didn't see what that was for. We had man, they were 3 by 3 there all the way through the middle of the pack. That was pretty tight racing, pretty competitive there to get this going in the first 5 laps.
Yeah, it really is. And, the traffic jam term, I think, is appropriate there because there just wasn't any space to do much of anything basically all the way through the field. And we talked about what a fine line it is to not go over that edge if you're up top. But when you're 3 wide, 4 wide, and you're in those corners, guess what? You're just as much on razor's edge as you are when you're on the top there because a false move, either you can be wrecked or you can wreck somebody else. it's just crazy how the starts of these races until everybody settles down a little bit can be at times.
Yeah, it seems to be the it seems to be that top is there, but I'm telling you, it looks like some guys are getting some pretty good runs off that bottom. We've got go ahead.
As I say, the top three were pretty much using the bottom there with Randy Shreves and the two Spartan teammates there with Kyle Parker and Field Miller. I saw both those guys up, and then you had Zach and Connor up top. But it looks like we're getting ready for one to go here. Once again, now you're going to see guys have to do different things. Kyle Parker was on the bottom. Now he's up top. Zach Chapman was on the top. He is now on the bottom because how they're going to line up here. See how these guys adjust and as they head down into turn one after getting the green flag.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. Here we got Randy Shreves and Kyle Parker. Shreves with a good start. Parker right with him. They're door to door. One's right in the middle and the other one's on the bottom. And Zach's coming right around the grass on the bottom. What a nice run off from two.
Yeah, Kyle Parker got a really good run there. Was able to pull even maybe a little bit ahead of Shreves. But, boy, that bottom in 3 and 4. And we got another caution on the track here. So a couple of cautions here early. And I can tell you, Andy, as a driver, and I know you know this as a driver, right now you're just in that car and you just almost let out just completely just exhale, you just want to get going at this point.
Yeah, you want to get some laps under you, get in a rhythm, especially when they're moving around like they are right now from top to bottom. Nobody's really set into their tempo and their pace. I'm pretty impressed with this Randy Shreves. I haven't watched him run a lot, but he is doing a nice job up front.
Randy does really well with the sprint cars. He runs with us Monday nights, Wednesday nights. You see a lot of him in the sprint cars. I don't know his experience, which one he does more of, because we are primarily a sprint car league. But Randy, from everything that I've seen, whenever he's pretty quick at about everything he gets into, and he's gotten markedly better in these big body cars between this and the big block that we'll have a little bit later on here. But I can tell you though, these guys, it's funny is, you got the 2 quick cautions, and I think we've seen this happen a couple times this week. Granted, other tracks and other types of cars, but had a couple of quick cautions and settled in, and next thing you know, they went on a 25 lap run, and boy, I tell you, I bet you those guys are hoping that happens right here right now.
Yeah, we've got there's some guys back in this field that are wanting to get some laps and get some green going to see what they can do. I know we've got Logan Gill back there and Nick Vickery and some of those guys. As we're getting ready to looks like we're coming around for the green. It's single file restart. Randy Shreves gets the jump out in front with Kyle Parker right behind him, followed by Connor Ross, who moves to the top.
3 different lines there in turn one for the first 3 guys. You had Shreves on the bottom, you had Parker in the middle, and you had Connor go up top. Man, this is good stuff here that we're watching. Look at that, all the way back, just 3 wide, 3 different lanes. What a great track this is, and great racing here. We get a good lap in here, and Shreves is in control early.
Yep, you got Kyle Parker's running just up there in the middle, and you got Connor Ross up top. Logan Gill has moved up a couple more spots. We got another yellow coming out. I don't know if that spot's gonna hold or not, but Logan Gill has moved up into 4th. Yeah,
iRacing, and the reason being for those that haven't watched before, when we have cautions don't count, and in dirt racings, when the cautions do not count, iRacing reverts to the previous lap. So even if you make the pass in lap 4, that caution comes out. Yeah, you gotta give it back, and I've been on both sides of that where I've had to give away back a bunch of spots, and I've been on the other side of that where, oh good, I'm glad I got my spot back. So it's one of those love-hate relationships, much like the track.
Yeah, they're trying to get the field line back up. It looks like we had a few guys get up off from the top. There was quite a few cars involved in that last one.
Yeah, I see a lot of good guys towards the back now all of a sudden with Ryan Beagle, Dean Reynolds, Brennan Lacey. Templeton is back there, and Paulson. But those guys Paulson and Templeton were kind of back there anyway from transferring from the B. But, the funny thing is up front, the cautions come out and you just want to get into rhythm. The guys in the back, these caution comes out, they just wanted the green so they could pass people. It's funny that the frustrations could be from two different, for totally two different reasons here depending on your point of view, I guess.
Yeah, we got a few cars. Looks like a couple guys that went to the pits. It looks like Zach Chapman's off the track. He was running up in the top 5.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Zach. And here we go. We're back to green and running again. Another single file restart.
Randy Shreves down the backstretch. He gets a nice jump on those starts. He is the guy that's running the show. He starts it when he wants to start. But back behind him, we got a really good battle going for 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, outstanding battle once again. It didn't take him long to start fanning out and going to the different lines here. You see Logan Gill with a big run on Connor Ross down the back straightaway into turn 3. It doesn't look like it's going to hold quite on the bottom. Looks like Connor's going to get a great run on the front straightaway. Great race between these two.
Yeah, and right behind him, you got the 677 of Field Miller. He's chasing Logan Gill up through there. I think if he would just stay with him, Logan Gill will probably get him somewhere as close to the front.
Yeah, Logan is gaining about an inch advantage, couple inches advantage every lap. But now look at Connor, kind of pinched him down and didn't go all the way up top. Went to the middle there and kind of made Logan kind of pinch that wheel over and scrub some speed and gave Connor the advantage as they come out of turn 4. Back down the front straightaway, and Field Miller says, hey, I want a piece of this.
Yep, he did. He cleared him and he got back down into that line. It seems to be that one groove up off from the bottom seems to be the fast way around right now. But our leader?
And we have a battle for the lead now. Kyle Parker to the outside of Randy Shreves and makes it work and pulls out to a lead going down the backstretch. Another battle for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You see Field Miller, Logan Gill, and Connor Ross all battling hard for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. The top 5 are now really getting close to one another, and it's going to be a 5-car battle for the lead. Lap 14, and we're just coming at the halfway mark.
Yeah, that was a great pass by Kyle Parker. He just kind of rode and kept kind of pacing himself, rolling that middle. And he's still running that same line, and he's got it going around there pretty quick right now.
He does, and I think that's what you refer to as a power move. Get on the outside and you just drive right around him. And I can tell you from the seat, no pass feels better than when you just drive around a guy.
Logan Gill drops down to the grass trying to put a slide job on, but no room to get back up in front of Connor Ross. He's rolling the top of 3 and 4. And Logan Gill gets a nice run down this front stretch. He's running 2 completely different lines at each end of the track.
He is, and he just ran a different line from the previous time. That's a couple times I've seen Logan right down there on the grass. I guess he's wanting to save he's going to right rear Connor there a little bit. And it clears him all. We got a caution, though, so he's going to have to give that spot back.
Yeah, it looked to me like Connor lifted for the yellow, and Logan got up into him there.
Good work.
Again, these front 5 guys, that's as close as I've seen of contact out of those guys in this race. The car control has been really solid with those guys.
Yeah, in Logan's defense there, if he actually lifted for the caution where he kind of up and right reared Connor a little bit, these cars just want to drive straight up the track. So you've got to be careful, even as the caution flies and how you get out of the gas or whatever, because these cars are they're fickle. For anybody out there watching, even under caution, you battle driving these cars because they I hate to use this term, but they weeble wobble down the straightaway. They're just kind of a little bit of a handful.
Yep.
Date myself to those toys from the 70s and 80s there, but so probably 5 guys out there watching will recognize it, and the other 5 are right now Googling to figure out what weeble wobbles are.
Yeah, they're hard to drive straight under yellow. That's probably one of the hardest things to do is to make the car go straight when you're doing that slow.
Yeah, and a little later when we have the big blocks are actually even harder than what these cars are to under caution and maintain a straight line.
They remind me of the old creepers, the old creeper wheels we had around the garage when you had to roll around the floor with the creeper wheels. You could never get that thing to go straight.
Yeah, but those creeper wheels didn't have what felt like power steering going crazy. But it looks like we might be going back to green here.
Yep, we are. And Kyle Parker's going to bring him out of 4. He's got a nice jump on the field. Logan Gill is underneath Connor Ross, going to try that bottom again. Nice aggressive move. He's giving him plenty of room. Good battle down the backstretch.
Yeah, Logan Gill has tried that now a couple times, and I can tell you, being around Logan, he's going to figure that out one of these times and make that work. He keeps going down there, so that tells me he thinks he can make it work at some point. But right now, the close battle, once again, we're back to green, lap back into it, and here we go again. They are going to start fighting tooth and nail for these top 5 positions.
Yeah, the one thing, it looks to me like Nick Vickery's getting himself up into here to start doing some battling with these guys too. One thing about Logan Gill, you mentioned it there a little bit, but he is not afraid to move around anywhere on a racetrack. One of the things I really admire about him is he does not give up.
Yeah, and this is one of those tracks, too, that you've got to be good on the bottom and you have to be good on the top, and even good through the middle. If you want to be successful here, you better be versatile and not be a one-trick pony and either run the top or just run the bottom. You have got to be good everywhere to win races here.
Again, we got Nick Vickery and Field Miller battling it out for 5th and 6th. Vickery's getting up there. He's trying to get up there and battle for that top 5. Good battle. Just a great race going on up there. Looks to me like somebody's going to, what do we got, about 8 laps to go. Somebody's going to have to try to figure out how to get up around that top and really hook up on that cushion.
Yeah, and I tell you, the further up the track you get, the harder it is to pass, because guys are just faster. Once you get up top 5 here, there's a reason they're in the top 5. Finding that little way around, or one of these guys making a little mistake, that's a tough thing there. When you get up to the top 5, guys don't make a whole lot of mistakes. They're fast. You got to drive smart and fast at the same time to get around them. We got a caution here, which is going to really set us up for a finish here, I believe, Andy.
Yeah, with 5 to go, we're gonna line them up. No, with 5 to go, isn't it under 10, John? They go single file on these restarts.
Yeah, but they were single file anyway, because one rule here, C2C, on both these, the late models, any division, which I think are the only 2 divisions we do start side by side, at the 3rd caution, we go single file. So we don't get into this, trying to, because cautions breed cautions, and sometimes some tracks are just harder to start, double file and whatnot. So in the interest of moving the show along for these, after that 3rd caution, they were single file. But yes, iRacing, 10 laps to go, they automatically put it single file.
Right. All right. Well, it should be a good dogfight here. We got, 4 to go. Kyle Parker is looking really stout out front. Connor Ross right behind him. Randy Shreves, Logan Gill, and Field Miller. I mean, be kind of interesting if Nick Vickery could get a jump and get something going here with 5 to go.
Yeah, Nick is following Field Miller. Those 2 are teammates here, so you got to be careful. With the gambler, our golden rule down at Gamblers: don't wreck your teammates if all possible. So, I don't know how the Spartan guys do it, but they are teammates there, and I'm sure they take good care of each other and whatnot. So that's a tough task. But I tell you, the other Spartan guy leading this thing, Kyle Parker. And I mean this in one of the nicest ways I can, but Parker is one of the biggest pains in the butt to pass on the track, so he's not going to give this lead up very easy. It'll be interesting to see as they come back to the green here.
Yep, and Kyle's got a nice jump. He gets about 3 car lengths on Connor Ross going into 1. Randy Shreves is right there with Logan Gill in 4th.
Yeah, Kyle got a great jump here as they go down the back straightaway, and he's able to stretch that out just a little bit over Connor. But look at these 2 guys rip the lip. It's on now. That's at the end, and you got to go.
Logan Gill tries the slide job, see if he can get underneath Randy Shreves there. He didn't make it, but he's back up top. He's running 2 completely different lines. I think he's going to try it again down here at the other end. Yep, and there he goes.
Yeah, this time he's going to slide right up and then see if he can keep that momentum up. He didn't slide all the way up, which meant Trees had to kind of dump it a little bit to not wreck each other. And there you go. Logan Gill is going to make that top, run it around, and take over third.
We got the popsicle sticks up in the air. We got 2 to go. And yeah, Logan Gill might be a little too much, too little, too late. But that was a good move. It was clean. Neither of them got into each other. Great car control. Just good, clean racing.
Look at the battle for the lead. We are on the last lap. Connor Ross to the bottom, trying to make a run on Kyle Parker as they go down the backstretch. Going into 4 here. We got 2 corners to go. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be right down to the finish. And it looks like Connor Ross is going to get it at the line.
Connor Ross got him at the line. What a great finish. Great finish. That was very exciting.
Wow. Very cool. And of course, I'm happy to see a Gambler guy, park in victory lane here. But, man, what a great finish by those 2.
Did not expect that. So we've got Connor Ross, Kyle Parker, Logan Gill, Randy Shreves, and Field Miller making up your top 5. We're going to reach down here and grab a couple of these guys for some interviews.
Good race, guys. See you in Big Ball.
And we're going to start with Logan Gill. Logan, Andy Piercefield here. Great run.
Thank you.
What track looked like it was good around the bottom, but just not quite good enough to get past him and slide up in front of him. You did get that slide job there late. Were you able to race pretty much wherever you wanted to?
No, I mean the track was pretty locked down. I tried to run the bottom. I couldn't get nothing done down there. Everybody was so nose to tail. You're not going to throw a slide job unless you're willing to wreck somebody for it.
Right. Well, we will tell you, Logan, after tonight's race, Stephen Goldner, our points leader coming into tonight, did not make the feature, so you should be sitting pretty good in the points. Is there anybody that you would like to shout out to?
I got to thank all the guys over at CBR, all my friends and family that pushed me to do this stuff and pushed me to be as good as I can be, and Yashnara Landscape, Swan Speed Shop, and SLR.
Very good, Logan. Nice run tonight. Hopefully we'll see you in the big bucks here shortly.
Yep. Thank you.
Kyle, Andy Piercefield here. I did not see that coming on that last lap. Were you as surprised as I was?
He's fast here. We ran the matinee, and he actually got by me for second and like 2 laps to go. But I was just talking to him. I got an ultra wide monitor, and I'm trying to mess with the field of view, and I had it at like 120 degrees, and now I'm at like 98 or something, and it's like a completely different feel. And I thought I had it, but it's so much different. Everything's slower. You're closer up and slower. But not to take anything away from Connor, like he hasn't ran in a while, and he's always been quick. And he's came back and he showed that he's still got those wheels.
Yeah, no, you did a great job. You did a great job all night. You ran really well there in the feature. That last lap, I'm telling you, man, that was exciting to watch.
That's what we go for. Put on a show for you guys and everyone watching.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Is there anybody you want to shout out to and give thanks to there, Kyle?
First, all and always, Spartan Racing, those guys, man. Every time we race, it's a blast. And then my fiance for letting me do this. You guys for the broadcast, and Coast to Coast for letting us come out and race.
All right, Kyle. Well, congratulations on that second place finish. Very exciting to watch, and we look forward to watching you race some more this evening.
Sounds good. Thank you.
John, you want to see how Connor's doing down there? Probably popping some cold ones right now.
Well, the young man isn't quite. He's probably getting some milk out or something. But
Yeah.
Connor Ross, as John, man, you put on a show and you got victory here tonight.
Yeah, it felt great, and chocolate milk, of course, because
Yes.
I'm not old enough. But no, that was a really fun race.
Well, I tell you, you made the last lap pass there. walk me through those last 3 laps. Where did you decide, or when did you decide, okay, this is where did you do it beforehand, or did you just see an opening? Tell me how it came to be where you decided, yep, right now is when I'm going.
I knew. Oh, sorry. I noticed that like he wouldn't pull away, but I wouldn't close in 1 and 2, where we were running the exact same line. And then I switched to the high side in 3 and 4, and realized that I was catching him a bit. Then I tried the high side, and I got a bit of a run, but it still wasn't there in 1 and 2. So I thought 3 and 4, I'm not going to switch it up. 1 and 2, I'm going to go back to the same thing. And then coming to the white flag, I caught him enough, and I told him even in the waiting room, I said I was going to throw a haymaker on you in 1 and 2, but I seen that he came down a bit. So I stuck the bottom, and then seeing that we were drag racing down the backstretch, I wanted to come up enough not to hit him, but enough to give myself a good entry on 3 and 4, because I knew that top side he'd have a good run, and I hit 3 and 4 on the bottom perfectly, and I was actually shocked to see that I won the drag race, but that was a hell of a race.
Oh, it was one hell of a race. You are absolutely right. It was great to watch. But now, I guess a little later, you could celebrate with a milkshake and some poutine fries. But until then, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to you, you guys, for broadcasting this. John, you do amazing, and then the broadcast was awesome. I got to thank my Gambler teammates. I got to thank Burger Barn, Petro Plus Travel Stop, Pesky Penguin, Retail Design Group, Coast to Coast Racing. I'm glad to be back, and thanks for Roger for putting on a beautiful league.
It's good to have you back. Good talking to you, Connor Ross. That's Connor Ross, tonight's 358 feature winner.
All right, John. So we're going to wrap up tonight. We got our 358 Modifieds wrapping up. That's been brought to you by the Super Dirt Car Series on the Coast to Coast Racing League. The broadcast was done by Extreme E-Speed TV. John, I can't thank you enough for being up here in the booth with me. I really enjoy working with you. We're going to go to a short break, and we'll be right back with the Big Block Modifieds.
Coolray has always been a leader in our industry.
The lifetime parts and labor warranty is pretty awesome. Basically, all the parts are covered, the labor and everything.
When we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, and it's supported with money-back guarantees. And with that, you're getting all qualified technicians that are going to ensure that this job is done perfectly and operates perfectly throughout the life of the unit.
Learn more about our Coolray lifetime parts and labor warranty at Coolray.com. Coolray.
All right, John, we're back. We're back live at the track. We got the big blocks out there practicing right now. This is Andy Piercefield and John Hine from Extreme eSpeed TV. We'll be broadcasting tonight on the Coast to Coast Racing League Network. Looks like right now Jeff Barker's got fast time out there at a 15.283, John. Man, that was some great racing earlier. I hope it carries over into this show.
Yeah, I think it will. You know, you're looking at a 15.283. Last practice, last race, it was a 5:58. So you're looking 3/10 quicker. These cars got some pickup to them, you know, so you got to be a little quicker, which means they're going to burn the track up a little quicker, and we're going to see that track widen out a little quicker to get all that racing that we saw the last one. We saw the 3 and 4 wide and all the really good stuff towards the end. We're going to get to that a little quicker in these cars.
Yeah, so I think we've got, looks to me like we've got about 30 cars again tonight in this field. Some of the guys haven't got into the server yet.
Yeah, another stop field, which means when we get to the heat races and you're qualifying, that stuff is just so important tonight because we saw the chaos in that B feature. You want to miss the chaos. You want to lock yourself in those heats. So you better be on the chip to qualify. And I don't know if I'd take the chance of trying to work that invert. I think I'd want to be in that top 4 to, you know, at least start the race in a transfer position.
Yeah.
Welcome to Thursday Night Thunder.
Looks to me like we're getting ready to roll over into qualifying.
Penalties for this evening. Following drivers I need to not qualify for heat EOLs. Whoever's revving that up, could you stop so we can hear? Nicholas Vickery, Alan Duranco, Patrick Spengler, and Kyle Parker. So Nicholas Vickery, Alan Duranco, Patrick Spengler, Kyle Parker do not qualify. And the rest is normal rules. We're going to have no black flags cleared.
Yeah, we got, I was just listening to race control there for a minute, John. I know one of the rules they have here is this EOL where you don't get to qualify if you have a penalty from the week before. Sounds to me like we got 3 or 4 pretty stout cars that are going to be starting at the back of heat races.
Yeah, I've been on the side of being handed one of those EOL and not qualify for the night. And with a field this size, it puts you behind the 8 ball right from the get-go because we're going to have bigger heat races. I got to make it a little harder to get through there, which means you probably got to have to be a little more aggressive than what you'd like to be in the heat, especially if you've got a really fast car. And yeah, it's tough when you got a big field and you get handed one of those EOLs here. So it'll be interesting to see who gets them and how they recover.
So yeah, so tonight's racing is brought to you by the Super Dirt Car Series. We've also got Coolray Heating and Cooling and the Gambler Racing Team. We've one thing with these big blocks, I don't have the point standings here, but I do know that Stephen Goldner did not transfer earlier tonight, and I believe he's right up there in points in this group too. That just shows you how stout this field is, that your point leader doesn't even make the A feature earlier tonight.
Yeah, and for those iRacers out there, you know, wanting a good league, you know, right there is Exhibit A why this is such a great league. It doesn't even matter if it's here in the big blocks, small blocks. There are no give-me's in this league, whether it be Monday night and the sprint cars, you know, late models, the big blocks, the NASCAR stuff we do on Saturday afternoon, or Saturday morning, Friday afternoon. every race is uber competitive in this league and with clean drivers, and that's just great to see. But they are qualifying, Andy, and a familiar name was top of the line, but look at that. Brian Lawson knocks him off. What a great lap by Brian.
Wow, 15,150. Yeah, it makes you wonder sometimes when you see some of these guys. I know some of them try to play the inversion and things like that. I'm not good enough in these cars to play that. I just try to go as fast as I can. But yeah, we got some. Steven Goldner's not going to pull no punches this time. He's going to get right up there and see if he can get transferred early on.
Yeah, like I said, my strategy here is I know some guys try to work that invert a little bit, but when you got 30 cars deep and the field is as close as what it is, you look at those times. Look at all the people in 15.2s to the low 15.3s. I mean, you can be outside that cut, by a blink of an eye. So I would just be hammered down. But Brian Lawson right now, quick time, and man, I like to say that I'm surprised, but I'm really not. I've been around him on the track. I've seen a lot of improvement out of him. Good driver. It'd be interesting to see if he can capitalize now with that number one qualifying spot and parlay it through, make it a good night.
Yeah, that's a great lap. Excellent lap. Yeah, so we've got a pretty stout field. Looks like we got all the normal front runners are out there. Plus, we've got some other guys that are mixing it up with this group. Remember, we got Nick Vickery and Kyle Parker who are not qualifying, so they're going to be starting at the back of these heats. That could make for some exciting racing.
Oh yeah, those are two of our fastest guys that are going to be starting in the back there. It'll be neat to watch those guys come from the back, see how quickly if they can get out of their heat races. That's got to be their goal, is to try to at least get to that fourth, and then go to work in the feature. If you get anything other than higher than a fourth, that's kind of gravy. But right now, you gotta have every night, at least for me, I start with a checklist. Make the invert is number one. Number two, make it out of the heat. Number three, try to get a top five. And, you got to go through those checklists. And I figure if you check all three every now and again, you'll win a race.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go. We got them lined up for heat number one. Starting on the pole, we got Jeffrey Kemper and Christopher Berger, Ryan Beagle and Brian Lawson in row 2, fast qualifier. We got Zach Chapman and Peter Breeze in row 3, Terry Landis and Mario Podrer in row 4, and Ryan Bear, and there's Kyle Parker, non-qualifying time, starting last. Should be a pretty exciting heat race.
Oh, absolutely. As you look down that list there, you've got Brian Lawson, who set quick time, Ryan Beagle, who's won several of these races and is always strong in these cars. You got Peter Bree, who we watched dominate a B feature this last race we just did. Then you got Zach Chapman, a former street stock champion here in C2C. Then you go down, you got Terry Landis, a former Renegades champion. Mario Podre, I know we're butchering your name, Mario, and maybe I have to text you, make sure we can get that right for you. But then you've got him, who was very strong in that last race too. I think he was in the top 5 for quite a while, and he may have finished up there, I'm not sure. But then finally you get down to Kyle all the way towards the back row there. Gotta be tough.
Now, John, is this one of them races where they could run a big block or a small block modified?
It is, and if you've chosen a small block, you're going to get eaten alive here. It's just tough because the big block guys can use their power and get these things going. When it slicks off, then those little 358s come to life, because all of a sudden you're not spinning the tires quite as much as the big blocks, and you can make some hay for sure.
Right
so,
on. Well, we got that pace car pulling off the track. We got Jeffrey Kemper and Christopher Berger on the front row coming around for the green, and they're off. And Jeffrey Kemper got a nice jump. Christopher Berger is heading right to the top. Let's see what kind of run he gets off from 2. Nice clean start as they come down the backstretch.
Yeah, and Kemper kind of takes control there in turns 3 and 4 as he comes around to lead the first lap. But oh no, Michael Berger, Christopher Berger, what a run on the outside. Parlays that right around the top and hooks it. Now he's got commanding lead as they head into turn 3.
Yeah, and Brian Lawson followed him right around there. You want to talk about a power move. It's like the 181 of Jeffrey Kemper. He's about a half a car length too low. The guys are driving around him on the outside. I've been in that situation. There's nothing more helpless than being stuck in the middle.
No, there's not. You got to be patient not to force anything, and he looks like he's able to slot up behind Ryan Beagle, which is good because that's the fourth and final transfer position. See if he can hang on to it. But now we have got a battle for the lead between Christopher Berger and Brian Lawson, as Brian really inches up to the back of him here. And keep in mind, Brian was quick time qualifier tonight as they continue their battle in 1 and 2.
Peter Breeze is trying to run the bottom to get up into one of them transfer spots. Ryan Beagles and Jeffrey Kemper are still battling. It almost looks like they're kind of running some laps right now, hanging on to their transfer spot. A battle for the lead is highly contested. That's not like they're just sitting back on their hands.
No, it looks like Brian is just hoping that Christopher Berger makes some kind of mistake here because, in the back of your mind, you really want to win because the winner of this race is going to be on the pole for the feature. So you really want to win it and start, with command of that feature tonight. But you don't want to put yourself in a bad spot and go over the edge or get into a wreck. And next thing you know, you're on the outside looking in. And we look like we had our third place guy. Jeff Kemper launches off the edge there and turns 3 and 4 as we hit the last lap.
He's going to go all the way to the rear. Kyle Parker came from 10th. He's up to 6th. Nice run for him. He's going to improve his starting spot quite dramatically for that last chance race. All right, so we got Christopher Berger, Brian Lawson, Ryan Beagle, and Peter Breeze, your top 4. They'll be transferring directly to the A feature.
And you said it, Andy, a big move by Kyle Parker that's going to help him in the B, but he still has work to do to make it to the A here. But here we go. We're looking at Heat 2 getting ready to come out on the track. On the pole is Dan McLaren. Next to him is Field Miller. Next row is Dean Reynolds and Brennan Lacey. Next row will be Jeff Fitzpatrick and G.J. Boydell. Preston Kramer and Butch Baker take up the next row, and the final row here tonight is going to be Barry Goldner and Corey Schartzer. Andy, who's your favorite here? Who do you think's going to be strong in this one?
I really think Field Miller. He was running really good earlier tonight. I look for him to be running pretty strong in this one here.
I think that's a solid pick here. Field is always strong in these cars. But I tell you, there's some other guys that are pretty hungry here with McLaren and Brennan Lacey and Dean Reynolds. They're going to want to get up there and take it from them. So this is going to be fun. And the track is already, remember it took Heat 3, maybe almost halfway through Heat 3 before that track started widening out, Heat 4. Well, it looks like now that track is starting to look a little racy. I'm starting to see that main groove kind of move around. I see the slick getting wider. I think we're about to see some good side-by-side racing, Andy.
Yeah, the track's a lot different than it was earlier. And all of that comes into play. For those of you that don't realize it, the weather comes into play on iRacing, the humidity, how many cars there are, all of that dictates what the track's going to be like. As we roll into turn 3, the pace car pulls into the pits. Dan McLaren will be setting the start for the field on the green. And we are off, and we've got Field Miller with a nice start on the outside. And there again, that just has that outside, has that momentum coming off from turn 2.
Yeah, Field Miller does a great job of just hooking the top there and able to run right by. But Brennan Lacey follows him right by Dan McLaren. Now, McLaren has got to inch his way to the top, be able to get into third there, and now off we go for the top 4 here.
Preston Kramer's coming up through. He's up to 5th right now. Oh, and we just lost somebody off the top of the track. Look.
Yeah, that looks to be Corey Schartzer, I believe, or Jeff Fitzpatrick. I can't tell who it was, but I can tell you, Preston Kramer, you're right, is starting to make a move there, and it looks like he kicked the back end a little bit out. That's really going to kill his momentum, and Butch Baker closes right up on him. The top 4 have kind of walked away a little bit, so Preston's got a little work to do to run him down. But if Preston can hang on to that spot, he will be on the front row for the B feature, which that has some advantages too. That's a lot easier path than if you're buried in that B somewhere.
Yeah, you can definitely see that he's running his car a little bit looser, which creates a little more wheel spin, but he's fast right now. He just seems to be having a little bit harder time keeping the car straight.
Yeah, these cars, the straighter you are, the faster you go. And looking at the attitude of Preston's car, he needs to keep that car way straighter. Like right there, that's just killing all his forward drive off the corner. He doesn't get any forward drive until he's well out of the corner because how how far that back end is hung out. If he gets that situated, he's going to be really fast.
Looks like I should have put some money down on this pick. Field Miller's leading the field around. He's running at a nice pace. Him and Brennan Lacey have just kind of paced each other. They both know they're going to transfer. No sense getting into each other.
Yeah, white flag lap, but look how straight Field Miller is compared to how Preston was. You see how that car is not quite hung out? That's where the speed is, as Field Miller takes the win, followed by Brennan Lacey, Dan McLaren, Dean Reynolds, all going to the main event tonight. Preston Kramer is going to finish 5th to take the outside pole for the B, and on to the next heat race, Andy.
Yep, that was a good race. It was good. Field Miller just got out there and kind of put it to him. Heat race number 3, we got Chris Steele starting on the pole. Logan Gill outside front row. Jeff Barker starting 3rd with Stephen Goldner starting 4th. Bob DeGood in row 3 with Randy Shreves. Brett Carlton in row 4 with Jeremy Paulson. And then we got Nick Vickery, who did not qualify. He'll be starting 9th, bringing up the rear of the field.
Yeah, Nick is going to be in the same boat as Kyle Parker was here. You know, he's going to be really fast. He's probably going to be a little faster in the, at least the next row, maybe 2 in front of him. He's going to have to be smart and patient, but he's got to have to pick up spots quick. Big goal here is to try to get to that 4th position and lock yourself in. But Stephen Goldner, we've seen kind of him having a rough night, and raced him a lot this week, and know he's kind of having a rough week here. I know he's going to be looking for some redemption here to get up out of this race, but he's on that outside, and he's behind Logan Gill. Those two cats are fast, and they've got the preferred line, Andy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. That outside should take off and be pretty stout. I know that Logan Gill, I believe he got up to 3rd in our small block race earlier tonight. Yeah, these, I don't know, there's 4 good cars right up front here. This is going to be fun. Stephen Goldner, I think he's gonna finish his up strong tonight. He needs a good, strong finish here. As we were getting ready to come off from turn 4, Logan Gill is going to get the jump on the outside and get ahead of Chris Steele. Stephen Goldner is going to follow him down in on the top side, and they'll get a run off from 2 heading down the backstretch.
Yeah, and as they go down the backstretch, you see Logan Gill really take control of the race, and Stephen Goldner over the edge. And we got a wreck with. It looked like Jeff Barker went around, and it looked like 5 or 6 people. Now let's see where Nick Vickery shakes out. Did he get caught up in that? And that's going to allow a lot of guys that might have got caught in there with that many cars
I tell you,
maybe salvage something here.
I tell you, John, Stephen Goldner was wrecking all by himself before that happened behind him, and he come out of it in 4th place. He was heading towards the rear, so he got a little bit of luck there, which sometimes that's all you need is a little break to kind of turn your night around.
Yeah, that probably dramatically changed Stephen Goldner's night around into a week around. He's been looking for a little luck. I'd say he just got it right there. But now he's battling his teammate for that 3rd spot. It's good to see Jeremy Paulson. I want to give him a shout-out real quick. We haven't seen him a whole lot over the last season or 2. Solid driver. It's really good to see him back in C2C.
Yep, so we got Stephen Goldner's up on the high side trying to get around him. We got 3 more laps to go. Nick Vickery pulled off. I don't know if he must have got caught up in that wreck.
Yeah, which means now Nick is going to have a real tall task in that B feature there. But I tell you, you got teammates. They could be teammates, but we got 2 laps to go. It looks like Steve Goldner is going to get an advantage on the outside of Paulson as they go into 1. I look for him to kind of drive on by here on the exit of 2.
And he does. He sets sail down the backstretch. You got Logan Gill, who's stretched out to a nice lead over Chris Steele. Logan will pick up the win and transfer to the A main along with Chris Steele, Stephen Goldner, and Jeremy Paulson. Brett Carlton came up from 7th and got a 5th place finish there. Give him a little shout out. He's one of the chip banger guys over there that I hang out with quite regular.
Boy, the racing has been good here. And this is just a cool track to run on, but you know what? Here we go. We're in the Consolation, Andy. already.
Wow, got here in a hurry, didn't we? Let's
Yes.
move this up here. I'm looking at the back of the field. All right, we got Zach Chapman on the pole with Preston Kramer on his outside. Brett Carlton will start in the second row with Kyle Parker. Butch Baker and Jeff Barker make up row 3 with Terry Landis and Barry Goldner in row 4. Randy Shreves, and we're going to go with just Mario in the 123. I beat his name up enough for one night.
We'll just call him Super Mario.
Super
Just go with
Mario.
that from now.
I like that.
Yeah.
Super Mario. And then we got G.J. Boydell and Nick Vickery. And then we got Ryan Baer and Jeff Fitzpatrick in row 7 with Bob DeGood and Jeffrey Kemper in row 8 and Corey Schartzer bringing up the rear. It doesn't look like Corey is making the call for this race. So it looks like we're going to have 16 cars. You know what? I did not check before the night's racing to see how many guys are going to transfer.
Well, that's all right. We're going to keep our eye on the front of the pack here and see who's going to win this bad boy. But, I tell you, there's some guys here that have got some work cut out for them, and guys that we're used to seeing contend for wins in the main events here from, Preston and Zach on the front row. We've seen both Terry Landis, Park and Victor Lane, Nick Vickery. Man, this is gonna be tough for these guys. Kyle Parker's another one. This is actually an A main and worth quality of drivers here. So, man, yeah, it's got to be intense, Andy.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good race. As the pace car pulls it off the backstretch, Zach will bring them around and set the pace as we come through 3 and 4. And Zach fires off, and Preston gets a nice run on the outside. Look at Kyle Parker up on the high side. He got a nice run down that backstretch as Zach battles back under Preston and take the lead going into 3.
Yeah, look at that middle line work. Wow, that is a power move on the inside there. Stuck it through. Had a great drive off. Zach Chapman is now in the lead as they come out of 2.
Yeah, Preston Kramer's battling with Kyle Parker as they come down the backstretch. Looks like Terry Landis is... Oh, we got a car around in the middle of turns 3 and 4. We do not have yellows in this race, so we'll try to get you some feedback on what happened there.
Yeah, it looked like a guy might have just over-rotated a little bit. When you do that in these cars, they're tough to catch. But I tell you, right now we got a 3-car battle for the lead, it looks like, between Parker, Cranmer, and Chapman. 3 different lines again, too. You got Cranmer all the way at the bottom. Zach's on the top side, and you see Kyle Parker now moving to the top side, but nonetheless, 3 guys and all. There you Preston once again hangs that back out. That's been his Achilles heel all night. That brings Terry Landis to make it a 4-car battle.
Oh, and Preston got up into Kyle, and Preston's going to go up off the top. Not good. He was struggling all the way through turns 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, and it's tough to try to regain your control. And sometimes guys can't see through the cars in front of them, and they're coming through there full bore, and all of a sudden you got a car going half as fast. But that really has given advantage to Chapman now as he's kind of driven away from Kyle. But look at this battle for second, Andy, between Terry Landis and Kyle Parker in turn 2.
Yeah, Terry Landis has done a nice job. He's moved up 4 spots. G.J. Boydell right behind him has moved up 7 spots. Those 2 are running nice. And look at the lines they're running. You got top 4 cars are all basically running different lines.
Yeah, and let's give GJ a shout out here. This is one of our veterans here in C2C, and if I'm not mistaken, and I really think this to be fact, but I'd have to look up our statisticians, but GJ has more C2C starts than I think any driver in the league, and it's good to see him up here battling Terry Landis for that 3rd position.
Yeah, they're going at it pretty hard there. He's got it. He's all the way up to him. He just needs a little bit more coming off from the corner.
Yeah, it looks like the drive off is pretty equal from the middle to the bottom there. And, Boydell just sends it in there. And, that's good recovery there by Landis. Didn't give anything up. It just kind of cost him. That was coming to the checkered flag there.
Yeah, that was a good finish. That was quite an aggressive move. I don't know how many cars transferred, but that would have been a shame if we would have lost somebody from transferring right there.
Yeah, and if they were both in a transfer position, I'm going to bet that they're right now. We probably should be hoping that their virtual haulers are not parked next to each other. That could always be interesting when that happens.
That was funny. That was a good race. Zach ran a nice race, getting that victory there.
Yep. But now we are in the warm-up for the big show here, Andy. Man, I tell you, this is going to be a who's who of C2C drivers in this thing, and I expect this to be really competitive, just like we had the last race there, where we didn't decide and we didn't know who was going to win that race until the last lap.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm gonna leave us here with them and watch a little practice and see who's fast out there, John. Track is definitely kicking up a little bit of dust right now, and it looks like the guys are moving up to the top.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this track, funny you mentioned the dust. I had forgotten about that aspect of it. The dust here is worse than any other track that's on iRacing. Some drivers don't like it. I kind of like it because, Andy, you grew up here in the Midwest with me in Michigan, and, in the summer and run some summer national races. You know just as well as I do, that dust is blinding at times, and that kind of helps to the realism of the sim. I know some guys don't like it because they can't see their marks and stuff like that, but man, I like it because it's pretty close to real life.
Yeah, it adds to the realism, and people don't realize the lighting position at a track with the dust has a big impact. Some tracks are lit from the infield, some tracks are lit from the outside of the track. All of that plays a role with that dust and how you can see through it.
Yeah, absolutely, and they water the tracks, I guess, the same in iRacing, so you don't have the little tricks that promoters will do, from putting detergent in the water to keep the dust down, and other little tricks that that you can put in the water, solutions that you can put in the water, so it keeps the dust down. So, but here it is, and I think that adds to it. I really do. I think it makes it a lot of fun here.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, one of the things I want to make sure that we let our viewers be aware of, coast to coast, one of the cool things about this league, there's many cool aspects of it, but one of my favorites is for $10, it's a 13-week season, I believe, and for $10, you can run up to 19 races a week. It's a fee that's so reasonable, and you can run anything from a street stock to a I don't know. What all do they run, John? They run midgets. Yep. They run sprint cars. They run Winston Cup cars. They run dirt late models. I'm a dirt late model guy, but I've come over and I've ran a lot of modifieds and sprint cars.
Yeah, we run everything from, like you said, the next-gen cars to the trucks. And, that $10 fee goes to help everything. Because this league, here's one of the coolest things. You win a division, you get a trophy. We do a lot of different things through the league, and all that money goes back to the drivers. We've got sponsors and whatnot that pay for a majority of the broadcasts. But the money goes in for things for the drivers, whether it be dog tags or there's just a lot of things I can't count. But right now we're getting ready to go on the feature here, and man, Andy, I can't wait. I'm ready. Just drop the green right there in this make ready shoot.
Exactly. No, it's going to be an exciting race. I'm going to go ahead and give us our lineup. We got Christopher Berger and Field Miller starting on the front row, with Logan Gill and Brian Lawson in row 2. Brennan Lacey and Chris Steele in row 3, with Ryan Beagle and Dan McLaren in row 4. Stephen Goldner with Peter Breeze in row 5. And then we got Dean Reynolds and Jeremy Paulson in row 6.
Leader from fire. That's on restarts, but the original start will be normal. Everybody make sure you hold line until we get to the start and finish line.
Well, there we go. We're having a little technical difficulty here.
Oh, that's all right. They'll see the ticker on the top, but I'll tell you what, that top 12, and if you're in the back there and you're looking at that lineup, let's say you're back there, where Nick Vickery or where, Preston Kramer, those guys are. You look up and you look down that line, and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pass this guy, this guy, this guy? And as you go up the list, there are so many good drivers here. It's a daunting task. But, man, once that green flag goes, you just got to go to work, pin those ears back, and drive your car. And these guys do it really well with this division. Lots of cars. It's really competitive. Not a lot of distance from first to last. I worked with one of our drivers in our C2C racing school. And, it's funny. I can just say, hey, look, you're not that far off. A tenth, you're running maybe 11th or 12th or whatever, but you're not that far off. That half a tenth you're looking for takes you from that 10th, 11th position, puts you in the top 5.
Right.
That's how close everything is here, and man, it makes it fun to race.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, one of the things I had to learn, as I was telling you earlier, I've been doing it about a year now. I can turn a lap as fast as the fast guys. It's doing it lap after lap. Here we go, and we got the green flag dropping, and we got Field Miller with a nice start on the outside. Christopher Berger pushing it around the bottom. Logan Gill and Brian Lawson are right there.
Yeah, they are. And boy, you know what? We've seen all night how that outside line had a kind of almost an advantage, but now they are almost dead even. 3 wide coming to the end of the first lap. Field Miller with the lead as he goes through 1 and 2.
Yeah, Logan Gill is really hooking up around the bottom right now, and it also looks like Ryan Beagle's doing the same thing as he moves up in the top 5.
No surprise there. Ryan Beagle is one of the best drivers on the low line. Same thing with Terry Landis, but what makes those guys strong, as I said earlier, Andy, this is a track where you've got to be good on the bottom, you got to be good on the middle, and you got to be good on the top, as we've got a 2-car battle for the lead going into 3.
Yeah, Field Miller's been running good all night, and he's right in the middle there. Him and Logan Gill are running the same line. It'll be a matter of who finds some speed outside of that line.
Yeah, you've got to, the old adage in racing, you got to pass them where they're not. Well, a track like this allows you to do that because there are so many different lines and different ways to drive the track to attack it. But I tell you, another guy on the move early is Steven Goldner. He has cracked the top 5 with Ryan Beagle. 2 of our better drivers showing their veteran stripes here and moving to the front.
He has definitely got that car hooked up right now. He's right up on the top of the cushion, and he is moving to the front and moving there quickly. He's up 5 spots into 4th position.
Yeah, we knew his luck had to change. A driver that good, you can't keep him down for that long. But you know what? Don't sleep on Ryan Beagle. Beagle is very strong in these cars, and we've got caution on lap 7 here. But now to allow those guys to kind of take a breath, and you start thinking too as a driver, okay, what worked in that little stunt, what didn't work, and it's your mind under caution. Some people say, oh, it's kind of boring, caution laps, click off, but your mind at this point has to become a computer and start processing, the 100 things that have happened under green flag in those last few laps. Figure out what worked, what didn't work, figure out what was working for your opponent, where are you going to make some passes, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing how quick you've got to analyze all this information that you just took in.
Yep, and that's the part of iRacing that to me is the real deal. That's the same thing that your mind had to do when you're out running in real life, is you had to take a lot of information and process it at a very rapid clip. I know a lot of times when people are talking about whether you're a baseball player or a stock car driver, how the speed of the game changes, and it definitely has changed for me in iRacing, as it did in real life. There was a point in time where it seemed like the cars all slowed down around me. I could almost process things a lap and a half ahead of me that a year earlier, maybe I didn't even know were going on.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I always tell people, too, they're like, man, you drove race cars. And it's like, it's all relative. I'll get back to that story maybe if we get another caution. But we're getting ready to go back green here as they go down the backstretch with Field Miller in control. Logan Gill is going to start on the outside second row. But look at that second row. Beagle and Goldner, they have come a long way here. They're going to make some noise and see if they can challenge for this win.
Field Miller got off with a nice jump. That's going to make a big deal for him to get to the top and get there quick, because we've got Beagles underneath Logan. Steven Goldner went up to the top trying to make some moves. These front 4, we got the yellow again.
Yeah, we do. And kind of going back to what I was saying, the funny thing is about, a lot of iRacers, you've got some racers that you've never driven a car in real life, but they always want to, and they think it's just crazy. But, what you're saying about things slowing down, and the best way that I can equate that is I always tell people, think of when you're 16, you just got your driver's license. The first time you got on the highway in traffic, what kind of grip did you have on the steering wheel? You were white knuckling it. When you get out on the highway now, what kind of grip do you have on the steering wheel? It's because you're used to it. Things have slowed down. You process stuff a lot quicker. No different on the racetrack.
Yep, it definitely is. There's It just is. And it's the same thing with baseball or some of them other sports. When you hear a guy, you talk to a hitter and he's like, yeah, that baseball looked like a beach ball when they were throwing it up to him. You got into that zone of hitting.
Yep.
I've experienced that behind the wheel of a race car, and I know many of the really good drivers talk about that, where it's just that feel that you just. I wish you could simulate the feel in the seat of your pants a little bit more with these, but it's technology is getting there. The day's going to come that we'll be able to.
It is, and I'll tell you, one of the things too that translates over that I think actually very similar to what I did in a real car is my footwork. How you work the pedals in these cars on iRacing is pretty similar to what you're doing, in a real car. How you're braking, how you're using throttle control, how you trail brake in these cars. A lot of that stuff does transfer from one to the other. But Andy, we're going to go back at it here as they go back down the back straightaway. We are going to start single file. Field Miller still has control of this race.
Yep, Field Miller's going to take off coming out of 4. Logan Gill pitched it a little bit sideways, didn't get the best start. Ryan Beagles is going to run underneath him coming down into 1 and 2. Great.
Yeah, it looked like Logan there spun the tires, got into it a little too hard there, and it kicked that car sideways. But now we're going to have a 3-car battle here. The best of the best with Logan, Beagle, and Goldner here for that 3rd place.
Yeah, look at this battle back in here for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We got them 3 wide with Kyle Parker, Zach Chapman, and then it looks like we got 000 Jeremy Paulson in there. He's been running good tonight. Just a good battle, and Zach Chapman's got a nice run on the top. Had to jump on it there and slow her down a little bit. Oh, and he drove it right off the top.
Yeah, once you get out of that rhythm, and man, that's what happens. That is tough. That's a tough break for Zach. He had a great run going, but going back up to the front here, it's a 5-car battle with Lawson, Beagle, Goldner, Logan Gill, and Field Miller still continuing to show the way up there on the lead.
Field's running about a half a car length lower than the guys in 2nd and 3rd. I'd say that Stephen Goldner's running the highest. We'll see what happens here as the laps count down. We're coming up on halfway here in a couple laps.
Yeah, still a lot of racing left to go here, and this track is still going to go through some changes before we get to the end of the race. So the lines you're seeing right now may not be working here in about 10 laps, but once again, we've got a battle for the lead with Field Miller going through turns 3 and 4 right now. Logan Gill closing in as they come down the front stretch.
Yeah, it looks to me like Field Miller's he's a little bit looser the way he's backing the car in on the entry of the corners, and that's letting the guys get a run up on him. But then he gets it straightened out and he drives right down off the corner.
Yeah, as we have caution on the track again, and I tell you, you see 3 different things going on there with those drivers, 3 different kind of styles of driving, how you attack the corner, where you're turning the car. And I tell you, Andy, it doesn't look like any one of those guys has an advantage over the other. They all look to be running the same speed, even though one guy might be a little better in one part of the track, the other guy could be better in another. So that's kind of giving a little bit of that yo-yo look there where he's like backing off and coming in back up to him. But good racing, man.
Yeah, I think, and this is just my personal belief, I could be totally wrong, but I think if you take Stephen Goldner and Logan Gill, I feel like they're sitting back there measuring him up. I feel like they've got a little bit more car, and they're just kind of waiting to the laps to click off, and you don't want to waste your move.
No, you don't, especially not with these 3 guys, because you're going to get 1, maybe 2 shots at it. You show your hand with any one of these guys, actually, in maybe the top 10. Yeah. Once you show your hand, they're going to know what you're doing and defend. So, you've got to be real careful. And I know Goldner is extremely patient. I've run with him enough to know he's smart behind that wheel. He knows with this much time left, he doesn't have to do it now. You're right. He's very measured, but you leave that little opening, man, he will get you in a hurry.
All right, it looks like the lights are off on the pace car. We're going to leave it at this view here. We got Cody Early up there in the Cool Ray chopper as we're getting ready to come down for the restart. Logan Gill got in the back of Field Miller there a little bit. That was a little bit clunky, but they're off and running.
Yeah, that happens. The one thing is, the leader, you get to control the start, and sometimes he might have went earlier in that the restart zone than he did that time. And if you try to anticipate that guy and you anticipate wrong, that's what happened. Look at the run, though. Logan Gill to the inside in 1 and 2. See if he can get it to go down the backstretch. Here we go. Drag race down the backstretch, going into turn 3.
Logan Gill's going to slide up in front of him now, finish that pass. Oh, and the caution comes out. I'm curious. I think they're going to take that back. Won't they take that back a lap, John?
I think they might, but we'll see here. We'll know here in a second if Logan powers around him. But oh man, it looks like Logan's going around. Well, maybe not. Just get next to him. We're going to see. Oh, they're waiting on the pace car here, so we don't know. It looks like Fields. He's got to give it back. Right now, Field Miller is the happiest guy on that racetrack, and right now, Logan Gill is probably, including the guys that probably just wrecked, Logan Gill is probably the most frustrated driver on that track.
That was a heck of a move. He had a run down that front stretch that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, he did. Now he's going to put that in his back pocket. He may not try it right off the bat. He's still got 12 laps to go, so he doesn't have to come out and, go right to that well again. Wait and see if Field is going to, defend it maybe right off the bat here and let him maybe make his own mistake because it's going to force him to do something that maybe he wasn't doing before. But we'll see how they do this. I'm not the one behind the wheel here, so I know how I do it. But right now though, Stephen Goldner back there and Ryan Beagle are probably sitting there taking notes and watching what's going on. And,
I'm sure they are. They've got the lights are off on top of the pace car. So we'll see what kind of a restart we get here with Field Miller as he brings them down into 3. He will set the pace. And the green is down, and off we go. And Logan Gill, much cleaner start this time. Logan Gill carried a lot of speed down in there. Stephen Goldner's bringing quite a bit of speed around the top. But, man, Logan Gill is driving up off that corner very strong.
Yeah, and what he's doing right here, he drives down the hill and gets that tack that's right below the slick on corner exit. Yeah, he's going to go for the slide job again, see if he can make it stick. He pulls up in front of Field Miller. We get the crossover back down the backstretch. Field Miller is going to try to return the favor over here and parks it in front of him.
Oh, my gosh.
Good job.
That was some great driving by all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, Logan saw it coming and lifted, and and look at that. Now he's out in the lead there. That should be a good lesson for anybody watching. You can be patient and lift when that guy parks it. Look what can happen.
Yep. That's one of the Field Miller gets up into the left rear quarter of Logan there a little bit. They hang on. They hang on. They're definitely battling up there. Field Miller's having a little bit of indecision on which line he wants to be in right now.
Yeah, he's putting himself in a bad spot, and he's putting the other guys in a bad spot right now. But he's making it work, and now that he's got it under control there, that's a really dangerous game. And then but it goes back to who you're racing around and guys that will count brakes and lift and stuff like that. Oh, and round goes Brian Beagle there. Caught it just out of the corner of my eye, so there is another caution on the track. But Field Miller kind of got away with one there, but now he's going to be there in second. Instead of being the hunted, he's going to be the hunter when we go back to green.
Yeah, I didn't see if anybody got into Beagle or if he just lost it there in 3 and 4, but he was running up there in the top 5.
Yeah, either from the looks of it, either he had help going around or he got up on top of the cushion and had to lift, and maybe someone got in the back of him. So tough break for the big dog here tonight. We're late in the race. That's not going to give him a whole lot of time to recover. I'm sure that when the points get situated there, I can tell you this is going to be kind of a hit for him because I believe he was in the towards the top of the point standings. So he's has a lot of good runs early on here in the season. But Andy, once again, I think we were in this position last race, around lap 24, 25. We got a yellow flag. Now we're set for another fantastic finish, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like there's still a lot of racing to go. It looks like we have got... Nope, lights are still on the pace car. I'm telling you, that lap, I wish we could go back to that. When Field Miller did the slide job and came up and parked in front of Logan Gill, Logan Gill showed patience that is very rare with these cars, where he stopped. He basically lifted, got on the brakes, stopped, let everybody get collected, and then continued on with his move. Because usually when that guy comes up over you across your front end like that, your first reaction is to stuff it into the back bumper and then complain about the move that he just made. Logan didn't do that. That was very impressive.
Yeah, it was. And here we go back to green, and Logan gets a great start. Look at that 2-3 car length advantage going into one.
Yeah, there's not going to be no slide job on Logan Gill that lap. Field Miller gets off and gets a nice run into second. And Jeremy Paulson, we've been saying that name a lot. He's having another nice run tonight with Steven Goldner getting around him on the outside.
Yeah, you got Paulson on the bottom, Goldner on the top, Field Miller through the middle, and Logan Gill out front. So laps winding down here. Guys are looking for that last little spot to try to figure out how they get the, move forward. That's what it's all about here in the closing laps.
Steven Goldner's running that top. He's been committed to that the whole race. He's turning some really good laps up there. He's just not able to make up any. Well, now you know what? I say that, and he runs him down coming off from turn 4.
Yeah, he runs down Field Miller pretty quickly, and Field is running down, closing a little bit on Logan Gill here as, we only got a couple laps go, so they're driving harder into the corners than they have been all night at this point and really trying to find the edge.
Yeah, Goldner's looking really good up around the top. If he can get that momentum run down the front stretch, I could see him driving under Field Miller. But right now, Field's going in. Right there's that move you talked about where he dropped down. He's not gonna be able to finish the pass, but he was. He had him there. He had him set up and ready to go.
He sure did, and he nerfed him a couple times down the back straightaway, probably just to say, "Hey, I'm here. Make a decision here." So, but man, that's a tough break for Steven Goldner. He was probably going to have a good shot at taking over second place there, but again, this has got a lot of the feel of the last race there. We had a last lap pass. We saw Connor Ross take it from Kyle Parker on the last lap. Looks like, we might be setting ourselves up for another race that has a last lap pass.
Yeah, there's this field of cars. I'm telling you, you look back through the field of cars right now. You got Nick Vickery sitting back there with Terry Landis, Kyle Parker. I mean, we got some really stout cars back in like 7th through 11th. Those guys win features out here on a regular basis.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a broken record, but there are no give-me's in this league. Every race is very hotly contested, and you can go from the penthouse to the outhouse in the blink of an eye here. That's how tight these fields are. But, Andy, here we go. We got the lights in the pace cars seem to be off.
Looks like we got a green-white checker. We'll see what kind of start Logan can get here. He got an excellent start the last time. He does a very nice job on these restarts. Great restart. Field Miller had a good start. They take it down into one. It looks like Steven Goldner is still committed to that top side. We'll see if it takes him a minute to get his tires warmed up. We're going to flip over to that action.
Oh, I think he just went over the edge.
He just went off the edge. What a frustrating night that young man's had.
Yeah, tough break now. That moves Paulson into third there. Field Miller into second on the white flag lap. It looks like Logan Gill is going to come around, take the checkered flag tonight, and get the victory here in the big block. So Field Miller second, Jeremy Paulson third. Brian Lawson comes home in fourth, and look at Nick Vickery. What a run from getting that EOL tonight. Both he and Kyle Parker, both EOLs to the B feature to come home fifth and sixth. Great run for those two.
Yes, it was. Very good. What an exciting race.
Yeah, and again, just a tough break there for Steven Goldner. And I can tell you, as a guy that likes to run that top side, yellow flags are just such a pain because it always takes you a lap or two to get your timing and your feel right to start really getting after it up there. And when you only got a couple laps to go, you've just got to take that chance and let her rip up there, because by the time, if you kind of take your time through there to get them, race is over. And man, if there was a hard luck award tonight, Steven Goldner, you, my friend, would have it. That's for sure.
Well, Poot, no hugs from the trophy barrel for him, huh? You guys head up to the the broadcast. Get your interviews. Good job, guys.
All right, let's grab Logan Gill. He's down in the way. We're gonna pull him up in here, John. Why don't you take that one?
Hey, Logan, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, I know it wasn't easy, but you once you took control of that race, you seemed to have it. Kind of walk me through the night. Talk about that pass. Not only the pass you made for the lead, but when you got slid there and kind of checked up a little bit and got the pass made back. Walk me through that whole sequence.
I didn't know if he was gonna try to slide me back. I didn't think he was quite clear enough for it, but he got the car turned in there, and I saw it a little bit late, but I was able to get the car checked up and turn back under him. And the one time we got together, I don't know how I saved it. I thought it was going over, but it was good. Just there again, careful with the slide jobs unless you're willing to wipe somebody clean out. Otherwise, stay in line.
Well, that track seemed to change from through the race a little bit more than it did last race. I saw more racing through the middle and to the bottom, and then I saw it kind of locked down at the top at the very end there. From your seat there, did you find that track to have more to change more throughout this race, or did it just stay locked down on the top?
There was definitely multiple grooves. When I was trying to get past field there before halfway, I was trying just about everything. I went up to the top 1 and 2 and tried to diamond cut down, and I got a good drive, but I just couldn't get enough to get in there in 3 and 4. Tried, driving all the way to the bottom and seeing if I could work him up the track on exit of 2, and just couldn't really get nothing done. It was kind of just wait until I got the perfect run, and once I got the perfect run, start sending sliders.
Well, hey, great job tonight. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank all the guys over at CBR. I got to thank, Andy over at Cool Ray, SLR, Swan Speed Shop, just everybody on the car, friends, family that pushed me to do this stuff.
Well, once again, congratulations. That is Logan Gill, tonight's winner in the Big Block Modifieds.
There's Brian, John. You want to holler down at him?
Absolutely. Brian Lawson, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Absolutely. How you doing, John?
I am doing great. 3rd place, man. Podium. What a great
Thanks,
night.
brother. Yeah, and iRacing kind of screwed me out of it. After I crossed the line, it was showing I was in 4th, so I just kind of exited out and said, darn, just missed a podium, It happens.
Well,
and I saw I was 3rd.
Well, a nice surprise when you saw the lineup once you're out of there. But I tell you, walk me through your race. It looked pretty eventful back there where you were, and tell me how you capitalized to bring her home 3rd.
Well, there towards the end, I think the top 6 of us got bunched up pretty good. We got bottled up on the restart there, and the high line, to me anyway, had kind of gone away. I was kind of running more the middle. There was a decent amount of grip especially coming off of 2 in the middle, and I was trying to grab that every time and just stay with these guys. They're really good, man. A lot of talent in this league.
Yeah, we've been saying it all night. There's no gimmies in here from front to back here. So I'll tell you, what a great run tonight. What a great confidence boost for you. Hopefully your prospects stay this good the rest of the season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for your 3rd place finish tonight?
Well, obviously, you guys for putting on the broadcast, Coast to Coast Racing League for doing such a great job. My teammates, Venom Racing, Magnum Race Design. If anybody needs a design, feel free to hit us up on Facebook. And last but certainly not least, my family and friends that support me. And I got to give you a shout out for our little practice session or training session a couple weeks ago. The stuff you taught me, it stuck with me, and I've been working on it, and I think it's starting to show.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, but I think I told you that, dude. You're not that far off, and just a little tweak here and there. So it's mostly you. It's good to see you up here on the top 3 here tonight. Good luck the rest of the season. That's Brian Lawson, our 3rd place finisher in the race tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Field, Andy up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing great, Field. Hey, I picked you earlier in the night, and you got me a heat race win there. I was thinking you were going to get me a feature win. Can you kind of walk me through your race? It looked like you had a lot of excitement going on out there.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun one. It was definitely slick. That setup was had a really high gear in it, so you could put your big toe on the throttle, and that was about it, you know. But we had some decent little runs. I figured it would be a caution fest all the way through, but we got to halfway, then we went single file. Had a good little slide job there with Logan. I had some pretty bad toe damage when he hit me on going into one, but you know, those restarts, it's tricky. He was laying back and getting good runs, and you know, you just gotta kind of hope he doesn't full send it into turn one. And that's kind of what happened. But you know, I'm happy with second place, and we'll take it and run with it.
Yeah, it looked like it was a very competitive run. Logan's he's a tough competitor, as all you guys up front there. That's a stout field, and to come home second place like that, that's a great night. If you got anybody you want to give a shout out to for that second place finish.
Yeah, all the guys at Spartan, we've had a pretty decent night. I think Kyle got snagged in the 358 there in the first race and for second, but you know, Nick's been carrying the banner pretty good. We got Dan back on board, so we got a lot of excitement happening, and it's nice to have the chat full again.
Right on. Well, it was very enjoyable to watch you. You've had a good night running so far. I don't know if you're coming back and running the next event, but I look forward to watching you some more. And just, you know, thanks for putting on a great show.
Appreciate it. Thank you, fellas.
Yep, take care. All right, John, I'm going to flip this over. It looks like we're right on time. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more racing here on the Extreme Speed TV. We've got the Thursday Night Thunder. We've got the King of Dirt series running the next event. All right, welcome back to Lernerville Speedway. We're getting ready for round 3 of the night. This will be the King of Dirt series, where they run a different car every week. This is week 4. They're going to be running the 358 modifieds. We have some cars out on the track practicing right now.
Yeah, we're looking at Aiden Young there in the Gambler Motorsports 69 as he's tooling around the track. Currently P2.
And he
over
drives
the
it
edge
off,
he goes.
drives it off the backstretch. Looks to me like we've got about 20, 23 cars. Man, we've had some stout fields all night. I'm a little bit. That's a good looking car Aiden's got there. I happen to notice we got some Cool Ray on that car.
All right, guys. Looks like the broadcast is good to go here. I'm going to go ahead and.
Yeah, he works hard on his paints, and he's really proud of them too.
That's a good looking car right there. I like the extra black on that. His late model's got a lot more white on it, but that's a good looking car.
Yeah, it is, and you know, like I said, he works really hard on his stuff, and really proud of him here. But I can tell you, you know, looking at that practice sheet, he's towards the top there with Brian Dickens and everything else. As we roll into qualifying, it's going to be tied up here once again. See who can lay down the quick time for the night.
Yeah, here's Brandon Templeton heading out there. He's kind of had a rough night of running. Excuse me. There's Ryan Beagle. He had a rough go of it in that last race. So yeah, it's an interesting night. We've had some outstanding racing, and then we've had some guys that we would have expected to have better nights kind of struggled a little bit.
Yeah, it's just been a weird season, you know, for some of our faster guys. That's the only way that I can really say it. And it's also, I think, maybe a little bit to do with the league's just getting more competitive. You got more guys that are wanting to come in and prove themselves, so that, you know, running a little bit harder, you know, and you know, it's put on some really good racing, but it's also, you know, led to some guys probably not getting quite the finishes or the start of the season that they've wanted to. But right now in qualifying, you know, the big dog, Ryan Beagle, who he himself has had some issues tonight, right now is P1 on the qualifying chart.
Zach Chapman's out there on the track. He's had a rough go in both features tonight. He's going to turn 14th quick time at a 15.6. That is so crazy. Zach is 14th with a 15.62, and fast time is a 15.50.
Yeah, and that's why I know there's some guys, you know, we've been talking about all night about guys that try to work the invert and stuff like that. I have no idea. When they're that close, I don't know how guys do it. But I sure as heck wouldn't mess around with it, because in these races, you miss it by a little bit and you're on the outside looking in, and your night can go from bad to worse back there, because you're around guys that are desperate to try to get up and get in that feature, and the aggression and everything picks up back there trying to get into these races.
Yep, we got Kyle Parker out there going to turn a couple laps. He had a good run earlier tonight in the 358s.
Yeah, he had a big run in the big block too. I mean, he had an EOL and came back, recovered from that, and I think he got 5th or 6th in that race of them.
Yeah, him and Vickery both did that. They came from EOLs to finishing 5th and 6th. Pretty impressive. And then Kyle got.
I'm pretty sure Kyle, this is his favorite car too, so that helps.
Okay. Yeah, he's pretty competitive in anything he straps in.
Yep, Goldner's up to 3rd there, so you know he's putting himself in a good position here to hopefully end the night on a higher note.
You know, the track looks different again for this race than what it has all night.
Yeah, he even climbed a little higher there. He's up to P2, knocking Nick Vickery down to P3. But there we go, heat number 1, Andy.
All right, we got G.J. Boydell starting on the pole with Chris Wilberger in number 2 on the outside. Dan McLaren in the 89, and Ryan Beagle starting 4th. That'll be fast qualifier in this first heat race. Peter Brees and Zach Chapman, and then we got Barry Goldner and Brennan Lacey bringing up the rear in row 4.
The rest will be in the B main.
Yeah, and you look at Zach and Peter back there in that third row, and those are the guys outside looking in. You take the top 4 to the main show. Everyone else got to go to that B, but the thing is, on the speed chart, that third row was what? Not even a half a tenth. I mean, you're talking a tenth and a half off the pole, or maybe a little bit more. So there's not a whole lot of daylight here between the guys on the front row all the way back to the guys on the back row.
No, it's pretty tight competitive field, and that's been showing up all night, right? It's been nobody's ran away with anything tonight. It's been pretty competitive all night long.
Yeah, and remember now, we've kind of we're zigzagging here. The first race of the night, the 358s. Well, that's what these are here. So this is kind of a redo, part due. So, it's very rare that you get to run the same car, the same track, two times in one night. But now guys are on the track, and well, they've got some information they could work with. They were on this track, twice already in modifieds, but once in these cars particular. So maybe they can apply to what they've learned and make it get to the front here tonight.
Yep, and the pace truck pulls off the back. GJ Boydell will be bringing him to the green. Christopher Berger on his outside. GJ got a good start, nice clean start, side by side going down into one. Berger on the top side with a big run down the backstretch, and he's bringing Brian Beagle with him.
Yeah, Big Dog is looking to move into second. He's on the outside of Greg Boydell there in turn 4 and powers around, and he's bringing Zach Chapman. Oh, and Boydell kind of moved up, and oh, wow, there Boydell is taking a ride down that hill now.
No, we have no yellows in this race, correct?
No yellows, and as a guy who runs in VR, that's one of those that I would have closed my eyes and held on to. But right now, that shakes the leaderboard up a little bit. You've got Barry Goldner, who started in the back row with all that trouble, has taken advantage and moved himself up to third place here. Zach Chapman has recovered to fourth, and Dan McLaren is on the outside looking in, but he seems to be closing in on Chapman here a little bit. He does have about 4 laps to go to get it done.
Yeah, I don't know how much damage Zach's got on the front end of that car. He got put up into the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, by judging by how quick McLaren is catching on him, I'm going to bet that car is not running quite right on him. So maybe he can hang on, but even now, if he can start on the pole on that B, he's still going to be in a good spot to make it to the A. Zach continues to kind of really have control of that fourth and final transfer position. But Ryan Beagle here has just left the field in the dust. He's got the Popsicle 6, 2 laps to go as he continues to run that high line down through 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Ryan Beagle, who's had a tough night so far, looks to be capitalizing and getting his night back on track. White flag in the air, and Barry Goldner has now moved into second place. Zach Chapman up to third, Dan McLaren up to fourth. I forgot who was running up there in second, but must have had a problem. Probably went over that edge. Everybody is up top. That seems to be the quick way around right now. Checkered flag as Ryan Beagle takes the win.
Yep, so we got Ryan Beagle, Barry Goldner, and Zach Chapman with Dan McLaren finishing fourth. I believe the top 4 are transferring.
Yep, top 4 transfer in, so Dan McLaren is in. GJ Boydell, who had that trouble and took that wild ride there early on, is going to start on the pole for the B feature.
All right, heat race number 2. We got Jeremy Paulson and Dean Reynolds on the front row with Aiden Young and Stephen Goldner in row 2. Kyle Parker and Brian Dickens in row 3 with Ryan Baer and Chase Gorley in row 4. So it looks like Stephen Goldner and Aiden Young are going to be the 2 quick cars in this lineup.
Yeah, and then behind them is Kyle Parker, who we know is quick at about anything. Brian Dickens is in here. This is kind of almost a murderer's row of a heat race. I've seen all these guys be up for the front and compete for wins in a lot of different divisions here in C2C. Man, this is this is one of those where I think I said the other night, if I was in Vegas and looking at that sports board, I think I'd just put my money in my pocket and go find the steak buffet somewhere and watch it.
Yeah, no, this is a pretty stout heat race. I like the way the track's looking this go around. It looks to me like it's widened out early again. I think we're going to see some really good racing, not only in these heats but in the feature. So we've got Dean Reynolds and Jeremy Paulson. Jeremy's had a really good night. Good to see him running as well as he is tonight.
Yeah, he's been up front. It seems like anyway. I know we've called his name a lot here up front a good part of the night. And Aiden Young has not run the previous 2 races. It's going to be interesting to see if he can, I almost want to say he's at a disadvantage. The other guys have been on the track all night in these cars. They know what they can do, know where they can push them. Aiden's kind of starting for scratch here. And, of course, you got Goldner there on the outside that's just looking for anything good to happen at this point.
Yeah, he's had a lot of bad luck. All right, we got the lights turned off on the truck. And we'll have Jeremy Paulson bringing him around. He'll fire off first, and we'll see what kind of a start we can get here. Coming off from 4. Oh, Dean Reynolds with a big run on the outside, bringing Stephen Goldner with him.
Yeah, we've seen that all night, that outside row, especially in the heat races, just seems to launch really well. In fact, all 3 cars that start on the outside, here they come. You got Dean Reynolds in the lead, Stephen Goldner second, Dickens third, and looks like Kyle Parker's trying to jump up there, but Paulson be able to get up there and shut the door and maintain that 4th and final transfer position.
Yep, Aiden Young's going to pay the price for that. He got shuffled back. Jeremy Paulson and Aiden both lost 3 spots on that first lap.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I was kind of wondering if it's a little bit of a disadvantage. Aiden might not have known to jump up there as quickly as what he can. Maybe he spent that first lap or 2 seeing if he could get that bottom to work. But right now, you got nose to tail, a top 4, top 5, all looking to get in here. We got 5 guys, 4 spots available to make it. Look at Paulson dive it low to try to get around Dickens coming out of 2.
Yeah, that drive in on the top and then try to bring it down across the tack, that seems to be a good strategy. It's just not quite got the speed.
No, it's not there quite yet. It will be here a little bit later in the feature. But now you got Kyle Parker trying to take over that final transfer position and lock himself in the A main, working over Paulson there as they go through turns 3 and 4.
Tell you what, that battle for the leads, Stephen Goldner is looks to me like he's biding his time up there with Dean Reynolds. Oh, and here he goes. He's trying a slide job. He's going to bring it right up. Oh, he didn't quite get there. Little hesitation, and then it was too late.
Yeah, and look at Brian Dickens on the bottom. Doesn't really try to slide up. It really maintains it there, but really, I guess he loses it coming out of turn 2 there. Goldner's able just to keep that momentum going and run. Looks like Paulson went up and over the edge. But here, Goldner's got to try once again.
Yep, he's taking her all the way to the top this time. Let's see, we got Dean Reynolds with a run on the bottom. Oh, he's going to bring it up and park it in front of Goldner, but I think Goldner's going to cross him over. They were pretty even at the line.
It'll be interesting who that gives it to. That was the checkered flag.
Oh, it was.
Stephen Goldner, and man, what a great race.
Yep, Dean Reynolds won that just barely. Great race. All right, heat race number 3. We got Terry Landis and Jeff Barker in the front row with Jeffrey Kemper and Nick Vickery in row 2. Brandon Templeton and Bob DeGood. And bringing up the rear, we got Eric Tetro. This will be our last heat of the night. I just want to take a minute and give a shout out to everybody over at Extreme E-Speed TV for helping us bring this production together. We want to thank Roger for allowing us to be here tonight to bring you this show. Roger's got a great league, and we love supporting the Coast to Coast League. And I just personally want to thank you, John. I know it's turning into a labor of love for you, but man, I really appreciate it. Plus, I just enjoy working with you here on Thursday nights.
Yeah, I can tell you, doing these broadcasts are a lot of fun, so I should be the one thanking you for giving me the opportunity to come up here, and watch my buddies out there put on a show. There's part of me that wants to be out there with them, but then I see all this racing and how hard they're going. I'm kind of glad I'm up here, I think, but both of us here you've been battling COVID all week, and looks like I now have COVID, and we'll just call this the COVID show, but man, we're sure having a fun time doing it, aren't we?
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Plus, you get to see it from a different perspective too. And I know,
yes,
it's fun to watch. I remember there was a year back in the early '90s. I hurt my back and had to take a half a season off. And I tell people that I think I learned more that year about driving a stock car than I had in all my other years of racing. and it was because I sat up in the bleachers and watched it totally different. We got Jeff Barker taking the lead down the backstretch with Terry Landis and Nick Vickery right there with him. Nick Vickery's going to make the pass on the outside for second. Got a good battle for the lead going here.
Yeah, Nick is riding the rim up there in that old Harry Gant, the high, wide, and handsome line. And boy, he turns down here. Looks like he's going to go for the slider over here in 3 and 4. Bails on it, but still has a good run coming off the bottom. We'll see if he tries again over here in 1 and 2.
Yep, they go up in their nose to tail, and they follow each other through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Jeff Barker gets a nice run. It almost looks like that slider works better coming off from turn 2 than it does coming off from turn 4.
Yeah, and right now there's enough tack on the top, though, that the guys can keep them wound up pretty good. So sliding in front of somebody is difficult because they're not scrubbing that much speed. When that tack goes away and it gets a little slicker up there where they're pedaling it, you're going to be able to slide right in front of them. You'll see that in the feature a little bit later as this race is starting to wind down here with Jeff Barker continuing to lead the way.
Yeah, he's got a nice little lead out there, nice and smooth. He hasn't made any mistakes so far. And Nick Vickery's right behind him with Terry Landis and Jeff Kemper. That's a good 4-car battle. There we go. We got him trying it there and see if he can get that to slide up in front of him, and he does. And then we got Jeff Barker coming back with a crossover.
Yeah, Jeff is trying to return the favor over in 3 and 4, but it looks like Vickery's going to be able to keep it wound up on the top with just 2 laps to go. Nick now seems to have stretched it out, so now you got a battle for second. Look at Terry Landis down there and Jeffrey Kemper. When those two got the battle, those other 2 guys came right up into the frame there. But, you know, looks like you got a 4-car breakaway for those transfer spots here as we get the white flag. 1 to go with Nick Vickery still now out front.
Yeah, Nick's starting to spread it out now and get running. He's going to bring him off from turn 4. It looks to me like he's got about a 5-car length lead over Jeff Barker. Then we're going to have Jeff Kemper and Terry Landis rounding out the top 4. Let's give it a little shout out to Bob DeGood there for a nice 5th place finish.
Yeah, I have to say, you know, give a shout out to all these guys. We have seen nothing but, you know, pretty good, clean racing for a large portion here of the race tonight. These guys are giving and taking all night, and you know what? We're the winners, the ones watching here. This has just been fantastic to watch, and you know, I expect a little bit more. We still got some more racing to do, Andy. I think this is going to be another barn burner of a race.
Yep, I think it's going to be really good. We'll see what we got for some warm-up laps here. We'll get some times on those. I want to give a quick shout-out to our sponsor. The King of Dirt sponsor is Chip Banger Racing. You got Tater and Dylan Perry and Logan Gill. There's a lot of really good guys over there, a part of that team. They've got a race coming up in January. We'll hear more about that as it gets closer here later in the month. But they're going to be hosting a pro late model race. Just a good group of guys, good group to hang out with, good competitors, good drivers. Few of them were running here tonight, earlier in the night. I don't see any in this particular race, but just a good group of guys. And then I also want to make sure we mention Cody Early's Pro Dirt Late Model Series, which will be kicking off on February 9th. They've got 28 events this year. There's going to be 3 of those races are going to be co-sanctioned with Coast to Coast. So that'll be a good night where we can all get together and bring the dirt late models from both Coast to Coast and the Pro Dirt Late Models. And I know last year we had a couple events, and those were really quite fun to participate in.
Yeah, those provide large fields, and it's part of our hometown heroes. I think that those will fall on, and yeah, bringing those 2 together, and it's kind of a grudge match, bragging rights between the 2 series and who can win. I think those Pro Dirt Late Model Series guys, I think they've kind of gotten the better of the C2C guys, but this year I think it's going to be a little different. We're looking for revenge.
No, it's those are good events, and you know Cody does a really good job. One of the things I know when I got hooked up with Cody in the Pro Dirt Late Models last year, one of the things that we both had was a vision of reality. We want it to be as close to real as we can make it. So we encourage the guys to have Facebook pages, I have a Facebook page for my late model, and you'll see my hauler heading out to the races, and we just really play it up and try to have it as real as we can, and it's just good stuff. And out of that's kind of where this Extreme Speed TV came. We were having trouble with our broadcast partners, so we decided we'd start our own, and that's one of the cool things with that. So we have Adam Johnson and Travis Piercefield will be the announcing crew for the Pro Dirt Late Models this year, and they're doing a lot of work. They've been working on this for about 4 months now. Really what I do on Thursday nights with this is a pretty stripped down version of what we're working on, just trying to get the kinks worked out of it.
Yeah, and hey, might be working on something, but hey, we're getting to watch some really good racing. As the lineup is set for the A main here tonight, Andy.
Okay, fellas, it's feature time here.
Yep. So I'll take us through it. We got Ryan Beagle and Dean Reynolds on the front row with Nick Vickery and Barry Goldner in row 2. Stephen Goldner and Jeff Barker in row 3. Zach Chapman and Brian Dickens in row 4. Jeffrey Kemper will go off 9th with Dan McLaren in 10th. Kyle Parker will be in 11th with Terry Landis 12th. Man, that row 6 is a pretty stout lineup right there.
When we're going around here,
Looks like I'm having some difficulties here again.
I tell you, that 6th row with Parker and Landis, those are two guys you're going to have to watch. Then they may very well be up front before the end of the night. That again shows you how tough this field is. But if you want to finish out the lineup here, we look at Peter Bree, Aiden Young, then it's going to be followed by Bob DeGood, G.J. Boydell, Ryan Baer, Eric Tetrial, Christopher Berger and Jeremy Paulson, Brandon Templeton, Brennan Lacey, and out back, going to be bringing up the back, Chase Gorley, who's got nowhere to go but up. But I tell you, Andy, it's going to be fun again. This track has just been well all night. The virtual track crew has worked it over between each race and kept this track in really good racing condition all night.
Yeah, I saw Roger and Preston having a little heated discussion over there in turn 2 a little bit earlier, where it looked like Roger wanted to put some water on it and Preston didn't. So looks to me like Roger won out and the track's got a little extra tack for the feature.
I'm going to tell you, if you saw Roger and Preston over there talking, it probably had nothing to do with track condition. Roger was probably telling some fishing story about a fish that he caught that was this big. And then Preston is probably just nodding and listening at that point. So, but anyway, we got one to go, and I'll get an angry text a little later on that one. But
lights are off.
Andy,
lights are off on the truck.
Yeah, Andy, who do you like here?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Vickery. I think Nick Vickery's due for a feature win.
All right, I'm gonna keep my eye on Goldner, man. I gotta think he's gonna break through here before the night. He's got another good starting position as they get into turn 3.
All right, and Ryan Beagle's gonna fire him off first here. He fires him off with Dean Reynolds on the outside. Dean gets a good run into 1, but it looks like Ryan Beagles is gonna get him off from 2. I don't know. Dean Reynolds with a good run down the backstretch. We're going to be 3 wide before we know it.
Yeah, it looks like Beagle is running the middle line. You see Vickery kind of there on the bottom line, and Reynolds up top. And once again, all night we've seen multiple lines, and none of them seem to have a big advantage over the other right off the bat here.
No, that's pretty impressive. That Beagle's running that. He's right in the middle. And Reynolds is not able to pull him down the straightaways. He gets up to him, but he cannot get him all the way.
We got a caution here on lap 3 as those guys are side by side coming out of 2. He might have had them cleared if that caution had come out, and we've seen that a couple time or two where someone's got that pass set up and that old yellow flag, that rag drops, and got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I think they were just starting to get settled in there, and it looks like Zach Chapman's sitting there in 5th. He's moved up a couple spots. I was kind of looking back through the field to see if we had any movers. Looks to me like Peter Brees has made a nice move, picked up 4 spots. Aiden Young's picked up a couple from 14th to 12th. So we got a lot of racing ahead of us. This is 40 laps, John. I just happened to notice that this is going to be a little bit longer than anything we've ran tonight. So that could play into this.
Yeah, and that means that you can afford to be a little more patient early on in the night. I don't know if we're going to see that with some of the drivers, but nonetheless, you can afford to be a little patient early going on here to kind of let things get settled in and then just go to work. But I expect it to be hotly contested, even though there's patience. It's how many times you've heard this term, Andy? Patiently aggressive.
Yeah.
That's what you got to be early on.
Yeah, they're and I see a lot of that with Goldner and Vickery there going into turn one. Were both being patiently aggressive. They were pushing each other hard, but they weren't overdriving it.
Yeah, it looks like they're doubling up here. They're going to get ready to go back. Looks like Goldner and Beagle are going to start in the front two rows on the outside, and you got Dean Reynolds and Nick Vickery on the inside. We'll see how this shakes out as they come around, get ready to take the green flag.
All right, and Dean's going to fire him off first. He's sitting on the pole. Nice start for Dean as he gets out in front of Beagles, moves it up to the top. Beagles is having a little bit of technical difficulty there.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little small blink there, but it looks like it's under control now. And the battle right now is for third. You got Nick Vickery on the bottom. You got Stephen Goldner on the outside. They're going down the front stretch, going into turn one. It looks like Vickery is going to have a little bit of the advantage coming through turn two. And look at the battle for the lead. Dean Reynolds has been able to maintain that lead on the outside over Ryan Beagle.
Yeah, Beagle is fast right in the middle. I'd like to see him move all the way up to the top and see what he could do. He keeps pushing that middle, and I think it's going to continue to cost him spots if he's not careful.
Yeah, I think early on here, I think you're absolutely right. It looks like the top is still pretty quick because you can stay in the throttle so long because there's still that tack. But they're going to burn that up with everybody being up there. Then you watch, they will end up back down in the middle, fighting tooth and nail here toward, give it about 10 or 15 laps, and they'll start moving down.
Zach Chapman's dropped off the pace a little bit there back in fifth. I don't know if he got what happened there, but he's lost a little bit of ground to Stephen Goldner.
Looking at this Hornet's Nest, it could be a lot of things. Just pushing too hard, maybe slipped up over the cushion, or maybe got nerfed right there. He got into the wall, run in the middle there. But look at Kyle Parker there. You got Peter Bree there. Look like Jeffrey Kemper's part of this battle. Those guys are just all on top of each other right here, coming out of turn four.
Yep, we got a good battle back there. Let's pop back up front and see what's going on for that lead. Looks like Beagles is battling back on the middle of the track. He is fast right in the middle. But Reynolds just keeps holding him off up there. Here comes Vickery around the top side of Beagles and see what he can do.
Yeah, Beagle likes that middle there, and it seems to be working pretty good. It's not that far off, it looks like. I said maybe 10, 15 laps. I'm thinking another 5 or 6 laps. That middle line is going to hold serve with that outside line. You see Nick Vickery there take over second. Now he's got his sights. There goes Ryan Beagle over the edge. Tough break for Ryan. Oh, my gosh. He had such a good run going.
Yep, and it's a one-car incident, so we're not going to see a yellow for that either.
No, he's able to get back on without having to come to a stop. So, yeah, no caution. That's going to put Stephen Goldner in third, move Zach Chapman up to fourth. Nick Vickery just took over the lead. Oh, I was looking at the ticker, and it switched there, but I guess no, Vickery is still behind him a little bit. Jump the gun.
No, it's a good battle. I'm telling you, Reynolds is running that top and doing a very good job. It looks to me like Vickery's a little bit quicker, but that doesn't always mean you're going to get around him.
No, it's, that old saying in racing. You hear it on Sundays in NASCAR broadcast or IndyCar broadcast. Catching them is one thing, passing them is another.
Yeah, the other night I heard two guys, after a race, they were having let's just call it a conversation. And the guy that finished behind the other guy, his complaint was, "You held me up all night. I was faster than you." I've never ran a race that I didn't feel I was faster than the guy in front of me. That doesn't mean I always finished in front of him.
I've had guys come into my channel complain about that very thing too, and I usually make them mad with my responses. Usually, well, if you're faster than me, why the hell didn't you pass me?
Exactly.
I mean, it's that simple, and that's what it comes down to. You got to pass them where you're not. If you get you don't want to drive through guys. You don't want that reputation, because then it's a matter of time before guys start running you that way, and all of a sudden you find yourself wrecked more times than not. You kind of wonder why. But we are under caution right at the halfway mark. Good chance for those drivers to kind of catch their breath once again, and kind of analyze all that data. What's worked, what's not worked. Where are they going to go for the second half of the race?
One of the things I'm noticing around the top of the track, Dean Reynolds, he's not able to keep the car quite as straight as Vickery is. And I think as the track slicks off, that may take a toll. But so far, hats off to Dean. He's running a heck of a race right around the top.
Yeah, keeping these cars straight, I cannot stress how important that is. It's almost as important as throttle control, because these cars, of all the cars in iRacing, when these cars get sideways, they scrub speed easier than any other car. You got to keep them straight. But as we see them get doubled up here and get one to go to green, Andy, I want to, we're going to look here at the third row. Take a look at the third row. Wasn't it at the beginning of the race, those cats were back there in the sixth row? Those two are moving up.
Yeah, they are. Both of them, Kyle Parker and Terry Landis, are both running really well. What do we got? One's up. They're both up 6 spots. So 3 rows they've moved up. All right, Dean Reynolds is going to fire him off, coming off from 4. Gets a nice restart, moves to the top, and gets in front of Vickery.
Yeah, got a good solve. Oh, Dino all over the edge from the lead. We got a caution on the course. I wonder if that caution came out before Dean went over. If that caution came out before Dean went over, he's got to get that spot back. Unless he was the caution.
Yeah, that was what do they call that? Unforced error.
Yeah, and man, I've been there. I've been up in front of a race here more than one occasion, and I just went over the edge. And man, I'm pretty sure. Look, Dean Reynolds is coming back up. I think they're going to give him the spot back.
It looks like it.
That man, what is that lottery? I saw lottery. What is it, like $500,000?
Yeah.
Dean Reynolds, if you go back and watch this, go get yourself a lottery ticket. Wow, that's a big break for Dean.
Wow. Yes, that was. You know what? And I'm not usually partial when I'm up here, but you know what? I'm glad to see him get another shot at it. He's doing such a good job. He just needs to take a deep breath, settle in, and let's go.
Yeah, how he recovers of this, because if he's rattled now, and Nick's smart. He probably smells blood in the water at this point. If Dean goes into turn 1 here on this restart, takes it easy, Nick's got to take advantage. Dean he's got to be that quarterback that just threw that interception. He's got to get back under center and let that ball rip, He's got to get back on the horse here, get into turn 1 like he's done every other restart, and just run with it. He's going to have an advantage here as the lights are out. They are going to be single file, where that last one was double file, but nonetheless, he's got to go through there and not be rattled.
Okay, here we go. Dean Reynolds is going to fire him off. They'll fire on his fire. And there he goes. Got a nice jump. Oh, very nice restart. No pressure from behind. Let's see if he can get through 1 and 2. That's going to be the telltale. Get through that corner clean, which he does. Vickery right behind him. Stephen Goldner's running in 3rd with Zach Chapman in 4th.
Yeah, it did a real nice job on the restart. Got a great advantage on the initial jump there, and he is just kind of holding on here right now. And boy, look at the battle. Look at Zach Chapman and Stephen Goldner back there. That fight for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Kyle Parker and Terry Landis, I'm thinking, aren't done. They want to move up here and be part of this fight for the lead.
Yeah, Kyle Parker's bringing it down around the bottom right now. Him and Zach are battling, trying to get up there with Goldner. And we have a yellow again.
Yeah, boy, lap 29 here, 11 to go. And yeah, I got to imagine, if Dean holds on to this thing and wins this, we're going to have to ask him what his thoughts were in these late race cautions, man. He's probably, I don't know if he's, taking a breath and going, oh my gosh, and be able to regroup, or if he's like, oh my gosh, I want to just keep going. Wow. Yeah, this is an interesting.
Something I hadn't noticed for these cars before, John, I'm, as you know, I'm partial to the late models. And when you get that late model and you get it where it comes down off the bars, and we won't go into a whole lot of detail about what that means, but these cars here seem to have even a bigger issue when they drop down off the bars. And when I was watching Dean Reynolds, he's letting off the accelerator and rolling into one. It's really upsetting his car. I wonder if that had something to do with him driving off top of one.
Well, it maybe the funny thing is when you let off the gas, it depends on how much wheel. Where the late models, yeah, if you get up when you say off the bars, simple way to put that is you've got to drive the cars in hard for the suspension and the late models to work. These cars, you keep them straight, and when they unload, if you got them pitched out sideways, and if they unload wrong, it shoots you up. And if you lift too early and that car unloads, it upsets the car a great deal. But Dean, he's only got 8 laps here. These laps are counting under caution. 8 laps. Let's see if he can hang on as the lights are out and they're getting ready to fire him back up, Andy.
Yep, here we go. We got Dean with Vickers and Goldner and Chapman right behind him. I'm still thinking Kyle Parker is going to make some noise. Dean gets another excellent start and gets a 2 or 3 car lead as they run into one. Vickers pulls down a little bit, giving Goldner a run up at the top, but there's nothing there. He's not close enough to make a move.
No, he's not, but looks like Nick Vickery now is really sizing up Dean here as the laps are winding down. We've only got a handful of laps. There he goes, the inside, to see if he can make that slide job work. He pulls it up, really has to work it to keep it from going over the edge there. Allows Dean to come back. Dean's going to send it in here, pulls back up. Nice crossover from Dean Reynolds here. Back and forth. Look at this, Andy. Neither one of these guys are giving up on this.
No, and that one there, look at that. He's got a good 3-4 car lengths. Vickery definitely made a nice move right there. But we got Goldner up putting pressure on Dean for second now.
Yeah, Dean needs to settle in there as you see him tap the wall a little bit, and that upset Goldner there. Vickery!
Whoa.
Look at Vickery off! Dean Reynolds back to the lead down the backstretch. Goldner into second here, and oh my gosh, 4 laps to go. What a big mistake by Nick Vickery.
Zach Chapman pulls up into second going around Goldner. We're going to have a new race for the lead here as Zach Chapman pulls even with Dean down the backstretch. They're bouncing off each other a little bit. Zach makes a move into 3 and 4, and he's going to slide up in front and take the lead.
Yeah, Zach, you got up there and leaned on him a little bit out of turn 2. But I tell you, Val, you got to battle for that 3rd position. Look at Kyle Parker, Steven Goldner, Dean Reynolds. Boy, these guys are just going at it here with 2 laps coming around to go.
Zach Chapman brings about a 3-car length lead down into turn 1. We got Kyle Parker right in the middle of the track moving into 3rd. He is not done yet. He's going to do everything he can as we come around to get the white this time by.
Yeah, now we've seen it a couple times. Guys make those mistakes, go over the edge. You're pushing harder on this last lap than you have all race. Can these guys hold it together for one more lap? You see Goldner with a big run coming on the outside of Parker. Dean Reynolds continues to hang on to second. Looks like Steven Goldner is going to get another big run on the top. Dean Reynolds for second. Oh, man. Steven Goldner for third and Zach Chapman to win this race.
Yeah, what a great finish. We got Zach Chapman, Dean Reynolds, Steven Goldner, and Kyle Parker. Vickery comes in to hang on to 5th place. Man, he had it. He ran a great race to get the lead, and then I'm not sure what happened coming off from 2, but he just slid up off the top. It just tells you what a fine line that is between fast and furious up there on the top of 2.
Yeah, they you never want to win a race with contact, but I'm not sure what happened over there, but I tell you what, great racing for us. We were treated to another great race here at Lernerville tonight with another great finish. Man, I almost want to talk to Vickery and bring him up here just to get his reaction, but I want to rub salt in the wound and say, man, how'd you like walk me through that mistake.
Exactly.
And Nick is such a good driver. You don't see him make that many mistakes. That is so rare out of Nick, and I'm sure he's gonna kick himself for a day or two from that one.
He sure is. All right, I'm gonna see if we can holler down at Steve Goldner.
Steven Goldner, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Well, my friend, 3rd place. After the week that I think you've had, this probably almost feels like a victory. Walk me through those last few laps here. That was crazy at the end.
Yeah, I was just kind of cruising, trying to get a podium because I feel like it's been a month or so since I've had one. I kind of it wasn't really going to race today. I was thinking about taking the rest of the week off and maybe trying again on Monday on a new week, see if we could, kind of perform a little bit better. But yeah, Beagle and Lacey there talked me into running. Kind of glad they did. Kind of glad they didn't. We missed the first show. Kind of sent it off on the top of 3 in the second one, and we were able to hold on to a podium here this time.
Well, I tell you, I said it in the broadcast. At some point, a driver of your caliber, you don't stay down there for very long. And racing is, whether it be in the virtual or real world, it's it goes in ebbs and flows. You know that, and it is good to see you back up here on the top and whatnot. Tell me, who would you like to give a shout out to?
I thank all them Vandybilt guys for everything they do with the team. Ross over at Velocity Race Designs, Alex at ABR Setup Shops, Roger, everyone for the league. I think Gambler Motorsports for the sponsorship for this deal. Everyone, all the good guys that we race against, and all the fans.
All right, once again, congratulations, Stephen. That's Stephen Goldner. Great third place finish tonight.
On the gas.
Hey, Dean Reynolds, Andy up here in the booth. You got a copy?
What's going on, Andy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Dean. Hey, take us through that. There was a lot of action, a lot of excitement going on. Take me through what you were going through.
Well, I do think I was the luckiest guy in the race. I heard you and John talking about where I went off the track on that one restart, and thank God the yellow came out, so I got my lead back. And then Nicholas was better than I was, and then I saw him go off turn 2, and I said, maybe I got a shot. Who knows? But Zach was so good. I mean, he was, he got ahead of me. I slid him in 3 and 4, and then when he got me in 1 and 2, he was too far ahead. And then I just wanted to hang on for a second so I can get interviewed by you, Andy, and the professor.
Well, great run tonight, Dean.
I want to ask a question here, real quick. How did you approach? Actually, I got 2 questions. After you went over the back, I put you back up front. Was it easy to shake that off, and when the green flag dropped, just to fire it through there, or did it take you a lap or 2 to kind of get your composure back?
I knew why I went off. I've been trying to hook the John. When you go into 1, the dirt builds up against the guardrail.
Yeah. Yep.
And I tried to go up on that to shoot me into 1 and 2, and I missed it. And then I pushed and I went off, and I knew what I did. So when I did the restart, I went in kind of like normal. But I'm not really good on the top here. I got a new wheel about 3 weeks ago, and it's enabled me to run the top. But when we had the hometown heroes here that whole year, and on Wednesday I ran the middle and the bottom. I never ran the top because I wasn't comfortable. So, I think this helped me out. And I tell you what, that was fun. When you got Zach and Steven, and then, and then you look at Kyle, and you get so lucky with Nicholas, but guys that respect and run clean, that was a lot of fun.
Then my second question was going to be, where you're up front, what do you think your heart rate monitor would have said? If how NASCAR guys usually have those in some of those broadcasts. If we put one on you, where do you think it would have been?
How about this, John? Here's a little irony, and I'm not making this up. I have a pacemaker. And my pacemaker actually went off a couple of nights ago. So I actually had to go to the doctors today, and they actually undid a wire on my pacemaker. So, maybe that helped me. I don't know. But, John, the worst part is leading. You know that. You just don't know what to do. You don't know what lane is fast and where they're coming, and I'd rather be second than leading.
Yeah, hey, you did a great job tonight. What a great race. We've been treated all night to those. So, Andy, that was the 2 questions I had for him.
No, that was excellent, Dean. Hey, great show. Fun to watch you. You got anybody you want to shout out for that second place finish?
Actually, always I want to thank is Coast to Coast. As you know, I'm a sponsor with Coast to Coast with the Super Deer Car Series. I enjoy these telecasts. I'm glad you're up and running now, Andy. I know you had some problems with the first one there, and it's always good to have the professor in the booth because he gives great insight. I just want to thank you guys for putting this forum on, and I'm glad to see the car counts 38 358s in that first one. I mean, that's great. Thank you to you guys.
Well, we appreciate that, Dean, and thank you. That was very, very enjoyable. Very enjoyable night, and it was, man, we could feel it in there. We were in there with you, buddy.
Oh, thank you. It was fun. Thanks again.
All right, Dean Reynolds, second place. John, here's Zach, our winner tonight.
Hey, Zach, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, yeah, what's up, boys?
Well, man, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And, Nick, you don't see him make a mistake very often, but he made one, and, man, did you ever capitalize.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Me and Goldner were just talking about that, and he's bringing up luck, and I said, "Man, luck's why I won tonight. I got lucky. I threw it down there on the bottom. I think I kind of figured out. I don't know about people behind me, but 1 and 2 was faster on the bottom towards the end for sure, and the top in 3 and 4. And I was making up a lot of time on those guys, but I was struggling getting by Goldner. And when Vickery went off, Reynolds had to check up, and I got 2 positions for free, so can't complain."
Oh, that's heads-up driving to make that happen. And, I was trying to figure out, it's tough from up here to see, and trying to figure out turn 2. I could see it changed dramatically through the course of that race on where to be and what line to be in. And, what a great race for you, though. And I tell you, how long were you down there? I mean, what is it? Take everybody inside the car there. How do you recognize what line to be in, or is it just you just discover it?
Well, honestly, a lot of my problem, it was kind of out of necessity. I think I was maybe a little over throttle going down the front stretch, and when we'd hit that bump, going into the corner, I'd just wash out, and I was losing way too much time on Goldner, so I knew I had to try something different. And I noticed the first lap that I did it, I made up about 1/10 and a half on him, so I kept doing it.
Well, Zach, great run tonight, man. A good one, and I'm going to hail it. Good win for Gambler tonight. Good to see you park that car in victory lane. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to VMR Sprint Wraps, Nick Vickery. He does a great job on paint jobs. Brightbox Electrical Services, Cool Ray, cooling, heating, plumbing, and electrical services. And, of course, last but not least, Gambler Motorsports. Without you guys, I wouldn't be as good of a driver as I am. A lot of credit to you guys.
You're being a little modest there, man. You're the one that has the talent, but you showed it here tonight with a win. So congratulations again. That's Zach Chapman, our winner for the King of the Dirt for Thursday Night Thunder.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up, John. What a great night of racing. Thursday Night Thunder did not disappoint tonight. We had 3 great races. I just want to give a little shout out to some folks. All the people over at Cool Ray, all the people over at Gambler Racing, Chip Banger Racing, Super Dirt Car Series, Coast to Coast Racing Network, the Coast to Coast Racing League. This is Andy Piercefield and John Hine from Extreme eSpeed TV. We'll see you all next week when we return with Thursday Night Thunder.